After further discussion, we have mutually agreed to move forward under a new DPA agreement that establishes revised terms for payment, outlines specific sales and depletion goals, and sets clear performance review dates.
Thank you. And then can you please read the last sentence in the third paragraph?
We will continue to monitor performance closely, and will determine next steps based on the results of the upcoming interim and year-end evaluations.
Let's go take a look at that distribution performance agreement.
Okay.
Can you please tell me in section 2 of the agreement, can you please tell me what those key terms were of the agreement?
Payment terms effective immediately, all future invoices shall be paid net 30, superseding any previous terms, including but not limited to net 45 payment terms.
Can you read section 2.2, please?
Distributor agrees to make best effort to achieve the following performance targets by category. Do you want me to list the individual categories?
Yes. Can you please list the 2 categories?
Okay, general product, 14%, Pinot Project, 25%.
Thank you. Now, can you please tell me what does best efforts mean?
Good old college try.
So best efforts means reasonable efforts.
Absolutely.
The DPA didn't require a guarantee of meeting goals, right?
Correct.
Just that best efforts were to be used in meeting goals.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what the agreement says.
Yes.
And these goals were set in June of 2025.
Correct.
Can you please tell me on the second page the date that the agreement was signed?
Looks like June 9th.
Of 2025.
Oh, wait, what am I looking at?
The second page of the distribution performance agreement.
So when it was signed,
Yes.
June 9th, 2025. There's 2 conflicting dates on here. One says 2023 and one says 25.
But we agree.
It was 2025. Correct.
Now, did you express any concern about the goals proposed by Skurnik?
Initially.
I just handed you a document. Can you please tell me what that document is?
It's an email between Lauren and I, and also Miss Gonzalez from Skurnik.
Now, in that email, can you please turn to the second page? There's some highlighted portion there. Can you please tell me who this email is from and who it's going to?
It's from Lauren to myself.
And who is Lauren, for the record?
Lauren is National Sales for Skurnik, I believe is her title.
And when is this email dated?
June 6th, 2025.
Now, can you please read the second sentence in that email?
I understand your concern about the Pinot Project numbers. So here is what we'd like to offer to assist increasing the sales of that brand.
Can you please, and that concern was because those numbers were really high?
They were high.
Now, ultimately, the distribution performance agreement was signed, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did RNDC sign the distribution performance agreement?
We very much wanted to rectify our relationship with Skurnik and be successful.
Did Skurnik agree to withdraw its request to terminate the partnership only if the agreement was signed?
Correct.
Now, please refer to section 3 of the distribution performance agreement I just handed you.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I didn't do this before. I'm going to enter in the distribution performance agreement as RNDC Exhibit 1.
Any objections, Mr. McKinney? All right.
No objection.
Just for the record, Mr. McKinney, to confirm, I think all of these exhibits so far are also in your packet. Is that
I
correct?
believe so, yes.
Okay. All right. Go ahead,
And-
Ms. Burdett.
And I'm also going to enter in the email that Ms. Crawford just read as Exhibit 2. Section 3 of the distribution performance agreement. Can you please read in section 3.1 the first sentence in that paragraph?
3.1,
Yes.
the parties shall conduct a formal performance review on or about September 30th, 2025.
And then the second sentence, please.
If cumulative purchases and depletions as of that date are not equal to or greater than the corresponding year-to-date figures from the prior year, the supplier shall have the right to evaluate the distribution relationship.
Did Skurnick conduct an interim performance review with RNDC in September of 2025?
No.
Now, section 3.2, if you could please read the first sentence in section 3.2.
If the performance goals outlined in section 2.2 are not fully achieved by December 31st, 2025, supplier may, at its sole discretion, terminate the distribution relationship within the state of Arkansas and pursue alternative distribution arrangements.
Now, did Skurnick conduct a final performance review with RNDC in December or by December of 2025?
No.
After Skurnick and RNDC entered into the distribution performance agreement in June of 2025, did Skurnick conduct any performance review?
No.
Did Skurnick communicate any performance concerns or issues after the distribution performance agreement execution?
No.
Now, what did that tell you?
I thought they were pleased. I thought they were happy with our Pinot project numbers. I thought they were overall happy with our champagne numbers.
Did Skurnick's silence regarding RNDC's performance give you any reasonable belief that RNDC's performance was satisfactory?
Yes.
Can you tell me why you believed RNDC's performance was satisfactory?
Because we achieved our Pinot project goal. And we were up overall, what were 14 something percent maybe?
Now, despite this, what happened in after December of 2025?
I got a letter from the ABC in January.
And what was that letter about?
Asking for a change of wholesale request.
And who was that letter from?
Skurnick.
I'm going to hand you a document.
Yes.
Now, that letter I just handed you, is that the letter you received from the ABC?
Correct.
And is this Skurnick's second termination request?
Correct.
Can you tell me when that letter was dated?
January 9th, 2026.
So 9 days after the distribution performance agreement ended?
Correct.
And prior to this letter, had you heard it all from Skurnick regarding performance?
No, ma'am.
Can you tell me in Skurnick's second termination request, they cite failure to meet the distribution performance agreement targets and declining sales performance. Is that correct?
Correct.
Were any of those grounds accurate at the time of filing?
No.
Sales performance, was sales performance down? RNDC sales performance down, was it down?
No.
So sales
I don't believe
performance
it to be
actually
down.
grew?
I believe so, yes.
And we're going to take a look at that in just a
Yes, please.
second. Let's go ahead and take a look at RNDC sales efforts. So can you please explain to the board the steps that RNDC took to promote Skurnick wines and during the distribution performance period?
We had a significant incentive on Pinot project. And overall, Skurnick, depletions as a team.
Did you reach out to Skurnick about promoting Skurnick wines?
Well, I mean, other than Lauren and I speaking in June about the some pricing issues, no.
Did you attempt to do training sessions with Skurnick on its wines and its
Yes.
products?
Mhm. Yes, I did.
Did RNDC pursue new retail placements?
Absolutely. That's evident.
Now, how did Skurnick respond when RNDC reached out regarding trainings and promotion?
Um, they were not available.
And can you explain a little bit more about what you mean by not available?
We had a couple of general sales meetings that because we had new sales people that maybe were not as familiar with Pinot Project as I wanted in Pinot Project in particular as I wanted them to be. And sometimes it's more helpful for a salesperson to hear from someone else than just hear me talk all the time. So I tried to schedule something with Skurnick since they are the expert and timing was never satisfactory.
Timing was never satisfactory to Skurnick.
Correct.
And do you remember when that happened?
I believe that was October.
Of 2025?
Correct.
Now, in prior years, would Skurnick send its Arkansas representatives for training sessions and promotion sessions?
Yes, we had a wonderful working relationship with Skurnick, and they were in the market 2 to 3 times a year, working with not only our team but buyers within the market.
And about how many training sessions in prior years on average did Skurnick do?
At least 3, maybe potentially 4.
Did that change at all in 2025?
Yes.
How did that change?
We didn't have any.
No training sessions from Skurnick in 2025.
No.
So would you say that Skurnick decreased its efforts?
Well, yeah, we did not have any training session with, especially with any of our new staff within our team or just overall product education.
And as part of,
So
go ahead, I cut you off.
no.
As part of Skurnick selling its product and promoting its product, is that part of Skurnick's job to make sure that its wholesalers have the resources and education to promote its product?
Yes.
Now, did RNDC proactively work to expand the number of Skurnick product available in its inventory in Arkansas?
Absolutely.
And did you run into any issues
We
with
did.
Skurnick?
Yes, we did.
I'm going to show you an email. All right. Can you please tell me the date on this email?
Looks like the September 9th, but it looks like the email chain started back in June of 2025 through September 2025.
Okay. So this email chain consists of emails between Skurnick and RNDC from June of 2025 through September of 2025.
Correct.
And are you copied on this email?
Yes.
And who is this email from?
It's from Amanda with Skurnick.
And what was the purpose of these emails?
Items, setups that were needed for Arkansas purchase.
So RNDC reached out to Skurnick about getting Skurnick item setups in RNDC system to be available for sale.
Correct. Correct.
Were those setup requests completed promptly by Skurnick?
No, no. June to the September is not timely.
Now, can you tell me in the email from Amanda, Skurnick's representative, can you tell me why were those item setups not being done timely?
Well, I think they had some issues with FOBs being loaded incorrectly. I think just some timing issues with Amanda's schedule. Let me go back and read. Yeah.
Start. Okay. Let's start with the email on page 26.
Okay.
That email's from Josh, is that correct?
Yes.
And Josh is with RNDC?
Correct.
And that email is to Amanda
Correct.
with Skurnick?
Mhm.
Can you tell me what that email from Josh, RNDC to Skurnick says?
I hope you're well. We need to get some items added to ER&DC and have some vintage updates as well. Attached is the working tracker for setups. And that was on June 12th.
Okay. Can you go to the response from Amanda, please?
So that would be here. Okay. Hey, Joshua, happy to help with these. Still catching up on some changes on another project at the moment, but I should be able to get these to you mid next week at the latest. Feel free to send any stragglers you might need added into ER&DC as well.
Now, okay. All right. Now on page 22, that's an email from Amanda to Skurnick, from Skurnick to RNDC. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Mhm.
Now, the first sentence in that email, first two sentences, can you please read those first two sentences?
Pricing is below and as of attached, the most recent inventory report, which has June and July pricing. Lauren found a possible system error, which swapped FOB with the 15 case pricing on a couple of SKUs. But if anything looks wonky, please feel free to reach out and I can double check and confirm.
So Skurnick had pricing errors in the system with the product.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Now I want to continue on, and that was in June, sorry, June 13th, 2025,
Yes.
a few days after the distribution performance agreement was executed.
Correct.
Now on page 15, can you please see the email from Skurnick in July of 2015 to RNDC?
Yes. I have been by myself on the order box and have had to prioritize order entry of POs. I have a bunch of backed up NIFs for multiple distributors that I have been able to hunker down and complete. So I want to get these to be completed by the end of the week at the latest. That was July 7th.
So Skurnick cited internal staffing
Correct.
insufficiencies.
Correct.
and delays on multiple orders for wholesalers.
Correct.
So it wasn't RNDC specific. There was nothing RNDC specific that Skurnik cited.
Correct.
Did RNDC offer to assist with the setup process?
I mean, as much as Joshua can, he will help.
Did Joshua offer Skurnik a form to make submissions easier?
I believe so, yes. Yeah, it looks like it.
And Skurnik continued to delay in getting items set up in the system?
Yes.
And this was during the period subsequently after the distribution performance agreement was executed?
Yes.
How did that affect RNDC's ability to sell Skurnik wines?
Well, we weren't able to sell it because we did not have it.
Right. Now, I want to move on and talk about specific numbers regarding the sales of Skurnik products in 2025.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I want to reference Skurnik's second request to terminate, excuse me.
Okay, January 9th.
Yes, on the first page.
Okay.
Can you tell me what did it cite as RNDC's 2025 depletion numbers?
Second page.
Sorry, second page. Yeah.
Okay. Depletion goal for 2020.
Yes. Can you tell me what it cited as RNDC's actual depletions for 2025 for total product for general product?
Actual depletions 215182.
And can you tell me what it cited as RNDC's 2025 actual 2025 depletion numbers for the Pinot project?
209.
Now, even with these depletion figures that Skurnik cited, was that an increase in depletions from the prior year?
Yes.
Now let's take a look at the actual depletion numbers. So what did I just hand you?
You hand me 2025 Skurnik standard case depletions by brand.
And are you familiar with this report?
Yes.
Now, can you please go to, sorry, let me
Sure.
let me strike that. Let me rephrase. And is this report for 2025
Correct.
depletions?
Correct.
Now, can you please go to the last page of the reports?
Yes.
Can you please tell me what the total number of depletions for 2025 was?
2161.7.
That number is more than what Skurnik cited in its second termination request letter.
Correct.
Now, I also want to hand you okay, now that number was an increase in the 2,100.82 cases in 2024, correct?
Correct.
So that would be an increase of over 2.6%. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you testified earlier that Skurnik never communicated with RNDC after the distribution performance agreement was executed,
Correct.
and it never communicated about performance, right?
Correct.
So we just saw that Skurnik cited lower numbers than RNDC's actual performance.
Correct.
Now I want to look at the brand, I want to look at data for the different brands.
Okay.
Now, going to page, can you please go to page 2? Now, this document I just handed you, this is a report of 2025 case depletions year, comparing year-on-year case depletions, correct?
Correct.
2024 versus 2025.
Yes.
Now, can you please go to page 2?
Okay.
Now, can you please look and see at the bottom, very bottom, the Pinot Project brand?
Yes.
Can you please look and tell me how much increase in depletions year on year in the Pinot Project brand there was?
25.82.
Also want to look at some other key performers. Now I may be mispronouncing these because I always mispronounce wines. The Vaughn Winning, can you please look at that? That is the
Is this on page?
on the yes on the third page, excuse me, on the third page, third row, Vaughn Winning.
Yes.
Can you please look at how much how many back orders there were from
There were 3.
and how many unfulfilled purchase orders there were?
3.
Okay, and then can you please tell me overall, looking at this brand data, so in 2025, there were several unfilled orders from Skurnik by brand, correct?
Correct.
This shows a total of 38 unfulfilled orders.
It does.
Thank you. Now, looking at Pinot Project numbers, I'm gonna hand you another document. That is the 2025 report of profit margins?
Yes.
Now, if you go to the last page of what I just handed you,
Okay.
in the middle, please find Pinot Project.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please tell me what was the total dollar revenue generated from the Skurnik portfolio in 2025 overall?
For Pinot Project specifically?
Yes.
$25,424.67.
And what about the average profit margin?
36.45.
And how much increase in profit was that?
$9,266.15.
Now, overall, can you please tell me what the total dollar revenue generated from the Skurnik portfolio in 2025 was?
Total dollar?
Yes, at the very bottom.
394,540.88.
And how much was that? Was the average profit margin across the Skurnik portfolio in 2025?
145,075.98.
And what about the average percent margin?
36.77.
Now, did the number of active retail placement, Skurnik retail placements increase?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
take a look at those retail placement numbers.
Okay. Okay.
And these are the retail, and these are the numbers for 2025, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, looking at the document labeled 2025 customer analysis, cases by customer,
Mm-hmm.
you go to the last page.
Okay.
And can you explain what that last page shows?
Our top customers for Skurnik in 24 versus 25 year over year.
And those represent increase in retail placements, correct? And
Correct.
sales, correct?
Correct.
And some of these numbers have 4-digit increases. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Please. So third row from the bottom, Alpine Liquor.
Mm-hmm.
How much percent
Uh,
increase year over year?
Over 2,000% increase.
Okay. And then above that,
Above that, Nick's Airport, a 900% increase in sales. Cheers and Springdale, 619% increase in sales. Burgundy Hotel, 500% increase in sales. Bordino's Restaurant, 443.3% increase in sales.
thank you.
You want me to keep going?
No, you're good.
Okay.
Okay. So overall, there was a significant increase in sales to customers, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, if you go back to the first couple pages, some of these numbers represent a decrease in sales to certain customers, correct?
Correct.
Can you explain why some customers had a decrease in sales?
Well, just looking at this list, I think there's some places that are just not simply open. And also there was probably a change in how they do business, like Harps, the first one on the list. I know they've switched how they're purchasing, or there was a change that the individual location had a change in buyer, or there's several different reasons, but looks like several of them are just simply closed.
Mr. Chair.
And that was external to any RNDC reasons, correct?
Correct.
Now, if you go to the second document I handed you, yes,
Ms. Bell, I
Yes.
do apologize for interrupting you.
yes,
Board members, we've been going for, I think, a little over an hour now. I want to be efficient, but at the same time, I want to make sure that we take breaks and we not go too long and give a chance. So I do apologize, but I'm going to take a 5-minute break for just a minute. So we'll go off the record and resume here at 10:26.
if you need to take a break, you're
Yeah.
good.
So, okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and hand these out.
So it's okay if I go make a phone call?
Yes, if you need to make a phone call.
Right. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Is there anything you need to talk to me about first?
You're good.
You sure?
I'm gonna leave with it. Oh,
It's okay. You do your thing. I'll figure it out. I brought one.
Like, there are parts that I really like,
Yes. You don't like.
and then like, this is just terrible. But
Yeah. I know, right? Traumatic flashbacks,
it's just like this stuff is kind of
right?
most of my life is behind in the one word all day.
Right, right. It's not like what you see. That's so exciting.
It's just a dread. Like when it's bad, it's bad. It's kind of like law school. Like I love law school.
No, me too. I do
But
miss school. Right, right. School's temporary.
yeah, law school's temporary. And final, I mean, I had a great time.
Yeah.
I was not super stressed in law school. Like, use sheer stressful in the competitions, but
Yeah,
I also make mistakes.
yeah,
I miss that.
yeah. Right, right.
Yeah, you're
Me too.
you basically are still in. I mean, you're a law review. You're a, yeah, you do more law notes than any law student ever has, I think.
I probably do, but I've also got two in law school right now, so.
Oh my gosh, well,
My daughter and my wife.
Wow. Are they in the same class?
They both started this year.
oh, okay.
One's at UR, one's at Beverage.
Oh,
Okay.
great.
Yep.
Well, some general
My
curses
wife-
can be
my
broken.
wife's been my crisis, I guess.
My grandmother did a similar thing.
Okay.
She went to law school when she was I think, 15. She went to Bowen, and practiced for 4 years. Back when there weren't a lot of women lawyers in Arkansas at all. Practiced for a couple of years.
Okay.
And that is kind of
I'm gonna wrap it up though. I'm not gonna.
Okay.
Gonna go through and tell you.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you.
Okay. Good.
Yes, I'm done with those numbers. I just wanted to.
glacial garden. It goes all the way down the hill. It's Little Rock down. I'm not kidding. I'm not talking about built an entire garden on the side of that house. It's not. That's big.
I know, me too. I really like some coffee.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, parties, are we ready to proceed? Thank you, ma'am. And thank you for noting that. Do want to make sure that we are kind of proceeding efficiently here, that we have a chance that we'll have ample time for Mr. McKinney to present his case as well, and of course, allow any questions from either party or board members. So thank you for noting that, and when you are ready, you may proceed. And Mr. Dell, I want to note that last, I think it's 5, the spreadsheets, all of that, that was not in Skernick's
Okay.
packet, correct?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
But I do want to admit those into evidence.
All right. And you'll forgive me, do you know the numbers you're assigning to those?
Do you want, yes, I think 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Just for clarity, can we understand which exhibits are being labeled 3, 4, 5, and 6?
Sure, we can do the case depletions report for 2025. That can be 3. And then the 2025 case depletions year-on-year comparison by brand can be number 4. The 2025% profit by brand, 5. And then the 2025 customer analysis, these are 2 documents, but those can be 6 together.
I also have a 2025 overview Skernick brand analysis. Is that a different one?
So yes, that is a different one. That should be 7.
Okay. And we have also
Is the brand, there's 2 different brand analysis year on year. There's a comparison by brand, 2024 versus 2025. That one is going, that one has. That one was number 4. So I've got the 2025 case depletions total overview by month and the totals. That's number 3. The brand analysis, which looks like this, it's the year on year.
Yeah, I think we've got some confusion as to which is which.
You need another copy?
I think I have the copy.
That one.
I'll have to, yeah. I'm just gonna come over there.
Sure, it's this one. That one is number 4. Are you ready to proceed, or do you want me to give you a?
Council, are you,
Did we get that letter?
There's also a January 9th, 2026 letter that was referred to earlier, which I don't know if that made it into the record.
Second termination request?
Correct, yes.
Can that be Exhibit 7, please?
I thought we
Exhibit-
already had 7.
Exhibit 8?
8, you mean 8?
I think that's Exhibit 8. You
Okay.
already had a 7.
all right, council satisfied with,
Yes, sir.
thank you. All right, and the 3 documents you just passed out,
Yes, I'm going to introduce those in just a second.
and, excuse me, I think 4. Just want to make sure, are we noting those as 9 through 12?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
So, Ms. Crawford, we just left off and we talked about depletion, depletion numbers, RNDC's depletion numbers in 2025. Now, I want to take a look at the economic conditions in the alcohol beverage market generally. Now, in your role as VP of Sales, do you track national wine and spirits market trends?
Yes, ma'am.
So you monitored industry reports and different authoritative sources
Yes,
for the
ma'am.
alcohol beverage market?
Of course.
Now, are you familiar with reports published by the International Wine and Spirits Record
Yes.
and the wine, excuse me, and I believe, and then the wine and spirits wholesalers of America, SIP
Yes.
source reports? Okay. Now, I've just handed you several reports from both sources. Are those two sources, are those authoritative sources
Correct.
in the market? They compile reports for manufacturers and distributors of wine and other alcohol beverages? Okay. How would you characterize the U.S. wine market during the performance agreement period, June 2025 through December 2025?
A matter of decline. The report started in, this report was dated in August, shows overall decline. 12-month rolling data, 4.9%. And 7.8% of wine.
Okay, let's take a look at the first report titled SIP Source 2025 Q2 report. Highlights persistent category headwinds, shifting consumer trends, and signs of continued stabilization. This report is dated August 18th, 2025.
Okay.
I would like to admit this into Exhibit 9, please. Now, do you see the third paragraph in that report?
Mhm.
Can you please read the first the first sentence where it starts with while, in the first sentence, second line, where it starts with while wine posted?
While wine posted sharper drops of negative 8.7% in volume and negative 8.5% in revenue on a rolling 12-month basis. And then it goes on to talk about spirits.
So this article highlights steep declines of wine volume depletions, correct?
Correct.
In the market overall?
Yes.
Now, next, I want to go to the SIP Source Data Insights Summer Depletion Trends
Okay.
report. Do you have that in front of you?
Yes, ma'am.
That is dated August 27th, 2025.
Yes.
Okay. I move to admit this into Exhibit 10, please? Now, do you see the chart at the very end of this report?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the Wine and Spirits Wholesalers of America, they reported in May of 2025, wine volume and revenue decreases, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Can you please tell me what those numbers are on a year-to-date rolling basis?
Wine is 8.6 rolling.
Okay, and volume?
Yes.
Negative 8.6?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
And that is in July of 2025?
Yes, July of 2025. And in May of 2025, it was negative 5.
Can you please look
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong, negative 8.8.
Now, on a 3-month basis, can you please tell me what, from May of 2025 to July of 2025, wine volume data in the industry?
Okay.
for wine volume.
Mhm.
Can you please look at the 3rd-month rolling data, the last row in the chart?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Can you please read the number that the WSWA reported on the 3-month rolling data basis for wine volume rates?
Negative 10.5 and negative 8.9.
Negative 10.5% for July of 2025.
Yes.
That was an increase from negative 8.9% in May of 2025.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So the report shows a decline in wine volume depletions in 2025, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, May through July of 2025 was around the same time that the distribution performance agreement was executed, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the next one I want to show is titled A Challenging Finish to 2025. That one is
Okay.
dated January 9th, 2026.
Yes.
Does this report show that the decline in wine volume depletions continue to progress into 2025?
Yes.
Now, in these under key takeaways, the first paragraph, can you tell me what it reports about wine volume declines?
Demand weakened as the year progressed, with wine and spirit volumes declining negative 6.5% January through June versus 9.75% July through November.
So there was a double-digit decline finishing 2025 and going into 2026?
Yes.
There was a double-digit decline, but you were expected
Objection.
to.
That does not, isn't that 6.5% and 9.7% are not a double-digit decline?
The report is not saying that those are double-digit declines. It's reporting that there are double-digit declines overall in the market. I mean, if they want to present any evidence that rebuts that, they can.
Counsel, you'll have a chance to cross-examine to address any of those.
Thank you.
Now, going to the second page, the first sentence in the second page,
This
Yes.
one.
sorry, first sentence, first paragraph,
Okay,
first
just
full
making sure.
paragraph, first sentence. Can you please talk about read that first sentence for me?
From a volume perspective, the divergence between the first and second halves of the year is striking. January through June posted a combined wine and spirits volume decline of 6.5%, while July through November worsened to negative 9.7%.
And then go down to the fourth full paragraph. And it references wine, where it references while wine saw a steeper negative 8.3% decline. Can you read that sentence, please?
While wine saw a steeper negative 8.3% decline in both volume and revenue, these results set consecutive baseline for expectations as the industry recalibrates supply, pricing, and promotional strategies.
Thank you. And I move to enter this into Exhibit 11, please. Last one.
Mr. Dell, that's the one that is titled Challenging Finish?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Last one is going to be titled January Depletion Signal, a Transitional Moment. That's dated March 5th, 2026. Ms.
Yes,
Crawford,
correct.
can you please tell me what reasons does the WSWA cite as factors for the decline in the wine industry and wine market?
Okay.
Under the key takeaways.
Wine and spirits are diverging. On-premise contraction is a growing headwind and stabilization windows ahead.
Now, on-premise contraction, is that referencing on-premise consumption of wine?
Yes, just it says states declining active accounts led by on-premise channel are declining, particularly for premium and higher margin items that rely on an on-premise visibility.
How does that affect Skurnick's fine wine portfolio? With Skurnick, so let me rephrase that. Are a lot of RNDC's customers on-premise establishments?
About 50%.
And you testified earlier that Skurnick portfolio includes high-end fine wines, correct?
Correct.
Did you see a lot of your on-premise customers have a declining demand for fine wines and higher end wines?
Correct.
And why was that?
Just overall demand in the market,
Was that affected at all by the pandemic?
pandemic, pricing, tariffs, overall loose change in people's pockets.
You mentioned the federal government shutdown. The shutdown went into effect around the time the distribution performance agreement and subsequently after it was executed, right?
Correct.
So you said that it affected a lot of the demand for wines, correct?
Yes.
Did that shutdown affect the ability to bring more Skurnick wines into the products into the market?
Yes.
And how long did that shutdown last?
I was the longest in history. Was it 45 days?
Yeah, it was a really long time, right?
Yep.
And the shutdown lasted going into the fourth quarter, correct?
Yes.
And why is that important?
Well, fourth quarter is when we all make our dollars, because that's when the holidays are. That's when people celebrate. That's when people gather and have holiday gatherings, family gatherings.
So the fourth quarter is a critical holiday selling season.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that where most of the sales occur?
Correct.
Now, given this industry data you've just described, we talked about RNDC's performance on the Skurnick portfolio compared to the national. Now let's compare that to the national market. So we talked about how RNDC increased sales 2.4%, correct?
Correct.
That was despite the declining sales and depletions nationally.
Correct.
And in quarter four, did you nonetheless outperform market expectations?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you aware of any wine distributor in your research and in your position as a VP of sales, any wine distributor in the country that achieved a double-digit depletion growth in 2025?
Not that I know of.
And you also mentioned tariffs, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So how did those tariffs affect Skurnick wines being imported and being available for purchase?
Well, there's just this extreme amount of uncertainty with tariffs and the surrounding price increases and overall demand. The American consumer might just simply shift to something that doesn't have a tariff attached to it.
Now, most of the Skurnick wines were foreign wines, correct?
Correct.
Now, we're about to wrap up, but I wanted to real quick talk about RNDC and Skurnick's communications during the last half of 2025. In your experience, when a supplier is dissatisfied with a distributor's performance, what is the industry norm for communicating that dissatisfaction?
Conversation, typical discussion.
If a supplier remains silent and fails to communicate those purported dissatisfactions, what does that tell you as the distributor?
That I didn't know that there was a problem.
Now, given Skurnick's silence from October through January, you just testified as to that earlier, what did RNDC reasonably believe about its performance as it wrapped up 2025?
I thought we had outperformed.
Now, Ms. Crawford, are you aware of Skirnick's termination of partnerships with RNDC in other states?
Yes.
Now, Skirnick terminated its partnerships in Texas and Washington, is that correct?
Yes.
And earlier you referenced in the first termination request that Skirnick cited strategic business alignment. Is that correct?
Correct.
And to your knowledge, Skirnick had already identified a replacement distributor in its first termination request, correct?
Yes.
I've got no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Riddell. Mr. McKinney or co-counsel, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, sir. We have a couple of questions for Cross. I'm going to start with what has been marked as exhibits R9. That's RNDC 9 through 12. Those are the articles that were just put before us.
And if I could hop in with just a real quick time check, we're at 10:50 a.m. There is another meeting in this room at 1:30. So that is our hard deadline, but hopefully we're out of here well in advance of 1:30.
We will
Thank
certainly
you.
try to get there, and I think we can. Ms. Crawford, we have these SIP-Source articles. Do you have those before you?
Yes.
What data sources does SIP-Source use for its analysis?
Sure. Exactly.
So you don't know.
I guess not.
Okay. Does SIPs, do these numbers reflect the trends in the fine wine markets, or are these general trends in the overall alcohol industry?
Oh, general trends.
And you
And also
testified,
fine wine, yes.
I'm sorry, and you
Go ahead.
testified earlier that Skirnick was in a niche category of fine high-end
Correct.
wines.
I did.
And so a general trend may not actually be indicative of anything in the niche market, would it?
Potentially.
You also testified just now and earlier, you thought you outperformed following the goals outlined in the distribution agreement. Do you remember that testimony?
I do.
And you also testified that Skirnick never communicated about performance with RNDC, isn't that right?
Correct.
That's not true, is it?
Not to my knowledge, no.
I will direct the board to what is in the binders as tabs 14, 15, and 16. And we will go ahead and move to mark those respectively as Skirnick 1, Skirnick 2, and Skirnick 3, meaning those are our first three exhibits. And Ms. Crawford, do you have a copy of these exhibits before you?
No, I do not.
In that binder.
Oh, I do. We do have
I
that.
have loose copies. May I approach the witness?
He has copies.
Goes along with number 14.
Okay.
Now, in the distribution performance agreements, the delayed payment on invoices was a specific element of non-performance that Skirnick had identified, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and tab 14, also known as Skirnick 1, it's an email dated October 15th, but if you read below that, it's referencing a chain of emails from September 2025. Do you see that?
I do.
And attached to that is a statement, if you'll flip over 2 pages. Do you recognize this document?
Somewhat, yes.
What is it?
It's a statement.
It's a statement of what?
Our account.
And if you flip to the last page in this exhibit, what's that number at the very bottom? It starts with a 9.
$95,504.31.
What does that number represent?
A statement balance.
A statement balance of fees that were due and owing to Skirnick that had not been paid, correct?
Correct, but the date of the statement and some of those, the total is not necessarily all due at that time.
But you would agree that at the time this was sent, that was the outstanding balance,
No, I
correct?
would not agree that's outstanding, no.
What was the outstanding balance?
It looks to me like the outstanding balance would have been. Oh, hell. Oh. $67 potentially minus some credit.
So in or around $67,000 that
Maybe,
was due
yeah.
to Skurnik? I didn't get an answer on that. Was the,
I think that would be correct. I'm not a mathematician, but yes.
all right, if you'll flip to 15, also known as Skurnik 2. This is an email from Lauren Reches to RNDC billing. Uh, It says copying in Joshua and Amber, there seem to be quite a few billbacks that are still open. We continue to wait for your direction on which invoices you'd like to deduct from these. This is following an email from January 15th that says, can you please review the following statements and let me know when the payment will be issued? Do you see that?
Yes.
If you'll flip over 3 pages,
Okay.
do you see the document that says statement at the top?
Yes.
What is this?
It's a statement of our account.
Okay, and I'll give you some time to look at this, but as of the January 13th date at the top right corner, what was the amount outstanding?
Looks to be about 39,000.
So 39,000. If you'll flip over to tab 16, also known as Skurnik Exhibit 3. This one is dated February 18th. This is also from Skurnik saying, please find attached statement and copies of past due invoices. Can you review and utilize all credits open? Do you see that?
Say that again.
Do you see the email, the email from Ms. Thomas, Julene White Thomas, saying, please find attached statements and copies of past due invoices? Do you see that?
What exhibit is that?
This is Exhibit 3. It's also should be tab 16. Just
Here to look at the email.
the email, yes, just the first page of that document.
Okay.
And do you see that it's that the sender is asking about past due invoices?
I do.
And there are several credit memos attached to this. If you would do me a favor, and I attached all the attachments just in case, but there's one that ends up being a statement towards the end of the document. Just let me know when you get there.
You say this statement
Yes,
dated February 18th?
correct.
Okay.
Based off of your review of this document, what was the outstanding balance as of February 18th, 2026?
Like 2,600.
Good. And that was past due?
I believe so, yes.
And I also want to talk about, you mentioned that, following the distribution agreement, you referred to a decline in support from Skurnik. Do you remember that testimony?
I do.
And in what ways do you believe Skurnik failed to provide support to RNDC during this probationary cure period?
As I stated, we had new staff within our team that was not educated on Skurnik wines.
And, but is it your testimony that Skurnik offered no support during this period?
Correct.
So is it your testimony that Skurnik did not offer top tier pricing to RNDC?
I didn't say that. I said training.
Is it your testimony that Skurnik did not offer free and discounted samples during this period?
I'd never testified that.
And isn't it true that in August 2025, a territory manager from Skurnik actually came to Arkansas?
Yes, but that's not the territory where I had new salespeople.
Right, but they did send somebody to help you out, right?
They sold champagne.
And you would agree that August 2025 comes after June 2025,
I would,
and that the agreement was signed in June 2025?
correct.
So it is not true that they did not offer support to RNDC after the execution of the distribution
I
performance
would not agree
agreement.
with that, no.
All right. I want to talk a little bit about the ERNDC system. And I know there's a lot of labels, and we will get to that, I swear. But can you briefly explain the ERNDC system?
It is set up so that suppliers can go in and sufficiently and efficiently put their products in for us to sell.
And so that's RNDC's electronic inventory system.
Correct.
And Skurnik had problems with that system.
They did.
Okay. We had this email chain that was referred to earlier. I don't believe it was introduced as a specific exhibit, so I'm going to move now to enter it as exhibit S4, Skurnik 4. This is an email chain that we received this morning. The first email we see on it, it's about 29 pages long, and it's the first email you'll see on it is from September 9th.
Is it in your binder?
It's not in my binder. This was an exhibit from
From them, okay.
And so if I could get a thumbs up that we all have this.
Council, is this the top page, the name on the top is Jelena Kraus?
Correct. And the subject is forward Skurnik item setups needed.
All right. Mr. Dell, I believe this was entered as your exhibit number 3. Is that correct?
I believe so. If I did not enter it in, then I mean, I thought I entered it in, but if I didn't, that may be been my mistake.
I think it was entered. My numbering has it as 3. If
I don't remember it. So if it's all right, I would just like to go ahead and enter it as Skurnik 4 just to remove any doubt on the record. Sorry if there's duplicative exhibits, but I just want to make sure the record is clear.
Quickly.
I just want to point to do you have this in front of you, Ms. Crawford?
I do.
I would like you to turn to page 5. And this, just tell me when you get there.
I'm here.
There's an email on the previous page from Mr. Joshua Edens from RNDC. It says, "Hey, Amanda," and then it goes on to the next page. Can you tell me when you've gotten to that email?
I'm here. Yep.
You see where Mr. Edens says, "I know there's a lot of steps getting the items built in, so we're happy to help support that process." Do you see that?
I do.
And if you'll flip to page 15. I'm sorry. Would you page 22? I apologize. And here we're looking at the email from Amanda Vidola of Skurnik, dated June 13th, 2025. And do you see below where it says Lauren found a possible system error that swapped FOB? Do you see that?
I do.
Are you aware of that system error?
Yes.
And you would admit that there was a system error with ERNDC?
No, that's Lauren, that's their system error. I believe the way they uploaded it into our system is
So-
my understanding.
It's RNDC system, right?
They input their own numbers, not us.
Right, but it's a system error.
No. I
All right.
believe it to be Skurnik's issue.
A Skurnik's issue with RNDC's system. Is that right?
That is not correct.
Okay. And Skurnik had trouble getting in touch with RNDC about the issues with the ERNDC system.
No, I don't believe that to be correct either.
And Skurnik had to hire an employee devoted to the ERNDC system. Are you aware of that?
No.
an RNDC employee described the system as a monster in written communications. Are you aware of that?
Potentially, but we offered to help. You saw, you read Joshua's email where he offered to help.
Right. I'm going to direct the board and the witness to tab 13, which we'll label as Skernick 5. And like the other emails, we're going to have to read from back to front. So if you would start with the page 2. And this is an email from Amanda Vodola dated November 11th, 2025. Do you see that?
Okay.
And Amanda says, this bounce back, historically, I have not had much luck trying to communicate with anyone who handles ER&DC issues. Would you be able to forward this to whoever handles the review process for the ER&DC system? Do you see that?
What page are you on?
I don't think we're on the same page.
This is tab 13, page 2.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And do you see that quoted language that I just read out loud about Amanda having difficulties contacting RNDC about problems with its system?
Okay.
And do you deny that she had issues contacting RNDC about issues with the system?
I have no idea.
All right. If you'll flip to page 1 of the same exhibit, Mr. Edens replied and said, hey, Amanda, hope you're well. Thanks for your help with the cleanup. I know ER&DC is a monster sometimes. So an RNDC employee admits that the system is a monster sometimes.
He's trying to be empathetic with her and help her
And how do you know that?
because I know him.
Okay. I want to talk about the exhibit entered along with a couple of other ones as I believe RNDC's exhibit number 4. This one, it says 2025 overview Skernick brand analysis on the top. And it's visually, I guess I can describe it as.
That one out.
You said exhibit number 4.
Yes, it's this one.
Yeah, we got it right here.
This is the table that is titled case depletions year over year,
By brand.
comparisons by brand.
Yes.
That's correct. That's the table name. Yes, yes, sir.
Y'all have it? Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to go over what these columns mean. It's not evident to me just by looking at it. The 2024 column, do you see that, Ms. Crawford?
I do.
What do those numbers indicate?
Cases depleted in 2024.
And 2025, that's the same thing as that's cases.
Correct.
And the third column, CHG, what does that represent?
Change.
And the column next to that is the percentage difference.
Percentage change.
And so based off the year over year comparison in 2025, from Conquilla down to Chateau Saint-Julien, my pronunciation, don't know if it's good. Each and every one of these percentages is red, correct?
That would be correct.
And what does that mean?
There was a negative percentage change.
Okay. There are some of these in the green. The percentages are incredibly high. Do you see that?
I do.
I want to take a look at just a couple of them. Let's look at Domaine Allier, Domaine Allier.
Okay.
So we have a 125% increase, right?
Correct.
And that represents the sale of less than one case.
Correct.
And so a large increase in the percentage could be a very small change in actual volume, true?
Correct.
On the next page, I want to take a look at another remarkable increase in the percentage. The Preeler wine, do you see that one?
I do.
583.4% increase.
Yes.
from the sale of 3 cases of wine, right?
Yes.
And that's a trend you'll see in these green areas specifically, but I want to take a look at some of the larger volume ones. If you'll go back to page 1, Konkia, we see a negative change, a negative trend where, if I'm reading the numbers correctly, 89 fewer cases were sold in 2025.
Due to a price increase. Yes.
And same thing for La Gran Sonora, which is 32 cases.
Yes.
Is it fair to say that less volume equals less revenue?
Correct.
Okay, I have a few questions that I'd like to ask about the distribution performance agreement. Let me first ask this question. You know approximately how many employees RNDC has nationally?
No,
How many states does RNDC operate in nationally?
I don't know.
Is it quite a few?
Let's call it 3.
3 states?
3 states.
RNDC is only in 3 states. Okay. Would you call it a large company overall, RNDC?
Yes.
Hey, Cliff, can you clarify, you're referring to RNDC, the national RNDC or RNDC Arkansas?
I'm asking about RNDC, the national
Okay.
corporation of which it's part of. So you'd call that a large corporation, correct?
Potentially.
Let's turn to the distribution performance agreement itself. If you don't mind, let's go ahead and start. If you could read for the record, section 1, background. You have a copy of that in front of you?
It was in State's Exhibit, back of 2.
It's right here.
It's also in our packet, I believe, but I think it was introduced as your first exhibit. Section, if you could read section 1, just section 1.
Over the past several months, supplier has identified several concerns impacting the effectiveness of this distribution partnership, including consistent decline in sales volume, delayed invoice payments, operational inefficiencies due to back-end systems, incompatibilities with distributor, including but not limited to lengthy item setup times that impede special orders and promotional execution.
Okay. From 2022 to 2023, did RNDC's purchases of Skurnik wines decline?
22 to 23?
22 to 23.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. From 23 to 24, did RNDC's purchases decline?
Well, 22 to 23 wouldn't have been RNDC, so I don't know. I can't go back to those
Okay.
legacy systems, but 23 to 24, we can look at those numbers compared to whatever number you think you want to put in there. But yes, we were RNDC in August of 2023.
Okay. From 2023 to 2024, did RNDC's purchases decline?
Compared to,
From 2023, from the year 2023 of sales, did they decline to the year 2024? Did you sell more in 2023 than you did in 2024?
I believe so, yes.
Then same question, from the year 2024 to 2025, did sales decline again?
They did.
Declined again, okay. Now, if you could just, for the sake of time here, just help me with a yes or no question. Turning to section 2.2 of the distribution performance agreement. You've got in 2.2, do you see where it says general product? These were the, well, let's start off.
Correct.
2.2, what's the label on 2.2?
Sales and depletion goals.
Okay. So under category general product, did RNDC purchase 2,660 cases?
Yes,
You purchased 2,660 cases?
I believe that to be correct.
Okay. Did you deplete 2,400 cases?
Yes,
You depleted 2,400 cases, okay. Pinot Project, did you purchase 250 cases?
yes,
Okay. Pinot Project did you deplete 220 cases?
Yes.
Was it not your earlier testimony that you depleted 209 cases?
Well, I was just looking at that, but potentially, yes.
Do you need a moment to confirm that?
Yeah, I'm going to have to if you want to.
Okay. Because I would like to know what numbers you did on those 4 metrics.
Okay. I don't know that I have the right information to give you an exact number in front of me.
So maybe it's just simplify it this way. So you don't know whether you purchased or depleted those numbers that are on section 2.2.
Not with the information I have in front of me. I do know that we were up 25.82% on Pinot project.
All right. When this distribution performance agreement was put together, I believe it was your testimony that you questioned the numbers of the Pinot project and whether that was realistic. Is that what you testified?
I think, yes.
Okay. And in response to that, did Skurnik agree to lower those numbers in this final agreement?
Yes.
So they did that. Okay. Did you question the ability to meet any of these other expectations besides the Pinot project?
I don't remember.
Did they refuse to lower any numbers that you asked them to lower?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
If you didn't believe these were realistic, could you have asked for different numbers like you did with the Pinot project?
I should have. And I should have gone back after the government shutdown and renegotiated.
Okay. Did you at any point in time ask for a performance review?
No.
Okay. Did you receive any of the late notices that are in the exhibits?
I believe I was copied on a few of those, yes.
Let me turn to 2.1 of the distribution performance agreement. It's just one sentence. Could you read that for us, please?
Effective immediately, all future invoices shall be payable on net 30, superseding any previous terms, including but not limited to net 45 payment.
Was there at least one time during the course of this distribution performance agreement that did you not meet that net 30-day?
I believe our payments were slightly delayed in transit, yes.
Would you say there were 2 times?
I don't know.
But would you agree that if it was multiple times that you were late?
I'm not going to agree to multiple, but potentially.
I have no further questions.
Does the agency have any questions for this witness?
No, I don't believe that we do. I was just gonna do a room check. Do we need a break or do we want to keep going? Okay, let's keep going.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Do board members have any questions for this witness?
Is this the only distributor that you can get these wines from? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. So as I look at your distribution performance agreement in here, you have the agreement terms laid out, and the first one is payment terms. And it does say here that you agree to all future invoices from this date, which I'm assuming is around June 2025 when the withdrawal letter was submitted
Correct.
would be payable on net 30-day terms. When I look at the letter that they submitted to the director in January, I see here about 13 instances of late payments since July 16th. Is that correct?
It's possible.
Okay. So typically, when you enter into a new DPA and you are essentially not meeting the terms of it, do you then proactively reach out to the company to sort of talk that through, or was the sort of, I'm just want to understand what the strategy was, or were you just waiting till that September date to have the formal performance review?
Well, no, so I don't know. I mean, I don't do back of house. So if there is an accounting issue, I don't know it until I get an email from Skurnick. And then I reach out internally to figure out what the holdup is.
So then what's the due diligence process that you have in place to ensure that you are meeting the terms of your DPAs?
We have, the invoices are put in with the net 30. So payment is supposed to be automatically generated as soon, unless there's potentially an invoice that doesn't show it was received, or something was broken in shipment, or we're waiting on a credit, or we're waiting on an adjustment of some kind. So there is always some back of house things that need to be cleared up.
That's helpful. And then in your earlier testimony, when we were talking about the agreement terms area 2.2, the depletion goals, I see here under general product, you all adjusted the purchase case number 14% down to, is that right, to 2,400 cases. But again, on the January letter, if I look at the attachment, it looks like you all were short 350 cases from that adjusted goal. And then on the Pinot project, similarly, on that adjusted goal of depleting 220 cases, you all were 43 cases short. Is that correct?
Based off of these numbers that they presented. That
Are those
is-
numbers not correct?
those are not,
'Cause it looks like a report that was run in January, right?
right, but I do believe that there's some discrepancy between the reporting systems,
Okay.
but I don't have I'm just looking at the letter that
Okay.
you're looking at, so.
Would it be safe to say that the letters, the attachment in the letter is accurate, that you all fell short in 6 of the 9 categories in terms of
No,
depletion?
I don't think so. Maybe in general depletions, but not with the Pinot project. I don't believe.
Okay, if I take the Pinot project out and I'm just counting sort of 9 categories here, Spain, Italy, world, it does look like you all are down the majority of the categories. Is that correct? Down, I mean, like,
Correct.
as in not achieving your goal.
Correct.
Okay. And that's also not achieving the goal from, if we're looking at it, not just from the adjusted or the original 2025 sales goal, but also the 2024 purchases, which I think in the DPA, it stated somewhere that, where was it? If cumulative purchases and depletions as of that date, referencing September 30th, 2025, are not equal to or greater than the corresponding year-to-date figures from the prior year, the supplier shall have the right to reevaluate the distribution relationship. Is that correct?
I believe that to be correct.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Board members, any other questions?
In the brand analysis, there's a column called purchase orders unfulfilled by brand. I'm just curious why that happens. What might cause that to happen?
Is the brand. Okay, I'm sorry, what was the question?
What might cause something to be unfulfilled by the brand? There's like a separate column with
Um,
on the brand analysis.
the PO is unfulfilled by Skurnick, potentially. I mean, that's what my system shows.
I'm just wondering like what might cause that to happen.
They either did not have inventory, or there was, they were waiting on a shipment to get here from Europe, and there was some uncertainty, right, in the last quarter of last year. So some shipments were delayed
Mhm.
from coming from Europe, therefore getting to Arkansas.
Okay, thank you.
Uh, Sometimes when, vendors aren't paying on time, it can either be, you talk about payments in transit. I assume y'all, do you know how you pay bills? Is it ACH? You drop a check in the mail?
So everybody, we're set up for ACH. We have some companies that still prefer a check. So it depends on the company, but we do both.
Okay, do you know what it is with this vendor? How you pay?
I actually don't. I assume it's ACH.
Okay. I was reading the ABC rules and one of the standards talks about capitalization. I mean, does your company have a capitalization issue or a cash flow issue that would prevent paying bills on time, or do you think it was more back of the house?
I think it was
process?
back of house.
Okay.
Obviously not privy to everything, but I think it was back of house.
Okay. I'm not familiar with your company. Who owns it? Is it private equity backed or?
It's a collection of family members, to most of them in Texas or Georgia.
Private investors. Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions, board members? Mr. Gill, any follow-up?
Yes, just a few. Can I take just 1 second, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay. Ms. Crawford, real quick, there was some question about the sources in the sources cited in the reports, industry reports that I mentioned.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, these reports came from the WSWA and IWSR, correct?
Yes.
Now, are those,
They're standard, industry standard.
and do they compile reports for distributors and manufacturers in the industry, and they rely on those reports?
Yes.
And so it's the industry standard to rely on reports from these specific authoritative sources, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now I want to talk about the payment statements that Skurnick showed you earlier. Can you explain to me the difference between statements and invoices?
Okay, so statements just have an invoice number and an amount. And they're very hard to reconcile with because you don't have the information on the invoice, like products listed on the invoice, to go back and do the back of house work to figure out if we received it or when it landed and so forth.
So statements do not reflect the actual invoice balance, the actual balance that is due.
Correct. In some cases, correct.
Statements don't show whether adjustments have occurred and reconciliations have occurred, correct?
Mhm.
Would pricing errors by Skurnick affect the balance that is due?
No, not really.
Okay. What about any unfilled purchase orders? Would that affect the actual amount due?
No.
What about back orders that were canceled by customers for delays?
My customers,
Mhm.
that wouldn't affect the statement. No.
What about open credits?
Open credits would affect a statement, yes.
Now,
It should.
now this email that Skurnick showed you earlier, dated October 2025 between Skurnick and RNDC.
Mhm.
This email I forgot what exhibit number that is, I'm sorry. It's regarding the
So it
dated
says-
October 15, 2025. Excuse me.
I think that ought to be
Uh,
one.
The statement is dated September 3rd.
Now that email, the email references, in that email, RNDC's representative references open credits that had not been yet applied to the balance, correct?
There were some open credits. I actually am thinking that that statement came from Skurnick. I think.
Now, at the same time that this was happening, shipments had Skurnick paused any shipments to RNDC?
Yes,
So Skurnick wasn't sending product to RNDC at this
Right.
time?
correct.
I want to turn to the ERNDC system that was talked about earlier. And I'm going to show you RNDC Exhibit 3 again.
Oh, yes, I'm sort of familiar with that one.
Yes, I'm going to show you. Now, in this email, it's right here, sorry. In this email from Amanda regarding item setups, Skurnick's item setups in RNDC system, did Amanda cite anything specific to RNDC system not working or RNDC system not operating correctly?
I don't believe so, no, no.
What were the reasons cited? What were Skurnick's reasons cited for the item setup delays and item setup failures on Skurnick's end?
Amanda had been pulled in a different direction.
And by different direction, are you referring to Amanda stating that she was behind on item setups because she was behind on other orders for distributors,
Correct,
multiple distributors?
yes,
It had nothing to do with RNDC?
correct.
And Amanda also references issues with Skurnick's product and vintage products, correct?
Correct,
So this was unique to Skurnick's products.
correct.
And then there was some testimony, Skurnick RNDC then devoted time and assistance to Skurnick in helping set up those systems, correct?
We did, and we have taken away the vintage statement on majority of their wines.
To accommodate Skurnick. Now, Skurnick testified earlier that they had to devote an employee. Is it uncommon for suppliers to have their own employee input their own product into a system?
No.
That's pretty standard in the industry. What about, is it standard with suppliers that are similar to Skurnick in size and in the product that they sell?
Yes,
So small fine wine suppliers?
Yeah.
Now, let's take a look at the numbers. There was some testimony about the goals set in the DPA and the actual numbers. Referring to Skurnick's first request to terminate, Skurnick just cites numbers, correct?
correct.
Is there an actual report attached reflecting overall 2025 numbers?
I don't believe so, no.
What was the date on that first request to terminate?
May 15th.
2025?
Correct, yes,
So you still had half a year left?
at that time, yes.
Now, I'm going to go back to exhibit number 3, the 2025 Skurnick case depletions overview by month and the totals. Please refer to the last page, excuse me, not the last page. To page 6 of 7, so second to last page. Second row, project. What was the total number of case depletions of the Pinot project for 2025?
I'm not sure exactly. I need,
Can you look at the last column
Mhm.
where it says total for
Yes.
Pinot project?
So the Pinot Grigio was 62.2. And
Can you just look at, sorry, for Pinot project, just the overall,
213. Got it.
213
Yes.
depletions,
Mhm.
case depletions, okay, in 2025, correct?
Yes.
Now, so the DPA, Distribution Performance Agreement, set a goal of 220 cases, correct?
Yes.
So that's about a 3% miss.
Yes.
Okay. And let's go back to the brand analysis exhibit 4, brand analysis year-on-year case depletions, 2024 versus 2025. This is exhibit 4, RNC's exhibit 4. Page 2, last row, Pinot project.
Yes.
Can you tell me how much increase year-on-year in Pinot project depletions RNDC had in 2025? Sorry, year-on-year.
25.82.
25.82% increase in case depletions for Pinot project, correct?
Correct.
Now, there was some testimony earlier about several categories or several brands being down. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, look, if you can look on the first page, this entire report, but first, second, and third page, there's a column that lists the numbers of purchase orders unfilled,
Yes.
correct? Purchase orders unfilled by Skurnik.
Yes.
So some of these numbers have to do with unfulfilled purchase orders by Skurnik.
Correct.
Okay. And the last page, page 3, the third column, back ordered cases in 2025. There were several cases that were on back order, correct?
Correct.
Now, it's normal to have variations in different products and fluctuations in sales
Sure.
year on year, correct? Does that reflect consumer demand,
Absolutely.
consumer preferences, market conditions?
Yes.
So even though there were fluctuations overall, RNDC had a 2.4% increase in case depletions year on year.
Yes.
In 2025, it had a 2.4% increase, correct?
Correct.
Now, the distribution performance agreement, does it list any other categories besides the general product depletions and then the Pinot project depletions? Just 2 categories that it lists sets goals for?
Mhm.
Okay. So is it correct to say that RNDC increased sales performance in 2025?
Correct. Sorry, you're good.
Okay. The distribution performance agreement, if you go to section 1, the last paragraph states that Skurnik remains committed to working collaboratively and in good faith with RNDC, correct?
Correct.
Did Skurnik work collaboratively with RNDC?
No, ma'am.
Skurnik didn't reach out about any performance issues, correct?
No.
Now, the emails that Skurnik introduced earlier about statements, did it cite anything about performance issues?
No.
Anything about performance concerns?
No.
The first time that RNDC learned about performance concerns from Skurnik was in January of 2026, correct? That was when Skurnik filed its second termination request, or ABC. Now, the concerns listed in section 1, the background, those concerns are just concerns that Skurnik had, correct?
Correct.
Do those concerns attribute anything on the part of RNDC specifically?
They're just overall market concerns.
Now, Council for Skurnik testified earlier about declining sales from 2022 to 2023. Did RNDC, was RNDC,
Objection, we haven't testified to anything yet.
there was some testimony earlier about declining sales from 2022 to 2023.
Mr. Riddell, please rephrase your question. I think at this point, Skurnick has not provided any testimony, asked questions of your witness under cross, but so it was your witness's testimony.
I'll rephrase.
Thank you.
So there was some testimony earlier and you were asked about sales from 2022 to 2023. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did RNDC have a Skurnick Wines or Skurnick portfolio in 2022?
Well, RNDC Arkansas did not exist in 2022.
Okay, RNDC Arkansas did not exist in 2022, correct? Okay. RNDC Arkansas existed in 2023, correct?
August of 23.
August of 2023. So in 2023, that would have been, that was not a full year, correct? Now, declining sales during those years were impacted by the pandemic, correct?
Correct.
Now, the performance goals or performance evaluations in the distribution performance agreement, you were asked about whether or not you raised or you asked for a review earlier. Is it normal for a distributor to reach out to its supplier and ask for a performance review? The distribution performance agreement set that burden and obligation on Skurnick, correct?
Correct.
Okay, no further questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Crawford, you are excused. Please stick around in case you need to be called back up. Mrs. Riddell, do you have another witness?
No.
All right, so you'll rest at this time?
Yes.
All right, counsel, before give you a chance to get started, I want to offer board members an opportunity to request a break, or are we ready to proceed?
I think maybe it would be helpful to just note the plan. Is there one witness for your side?
Yes.
Could you possibly estimate? I know that's a hard question.
I'm going to do my best not to retract stuff that's already basically been established. I don't think we're going to need past 1:30. I think we'll be well under that. I do think we should stay for the record that if we were to start right now, we would not have the same amount of time as our counterpart has had. They've had 2 hours and 40 minutes. We will not be given the benefit of that time, and the testimony will be truncated. So I'm just noting that for the record, but I'm happy to go on a little break. 5 minutes sounds good for a bathroom break.
If it's going to be an issue, we can move our meetings. We just, quite frankly, feel like 5 hours is plenty for a wholesale change request. Actually, probably overkill. So that's where I'm at. Board up to you guys if you want to take a break or not.
Yeah, I think what we're trying to do is estimate how long your testimony will take, so we know whether we take a break now or after your testimony.
An hour.
Let's take a quick break right now.
And before we do that, real quick, I have been trying to keep up with time. As I understand it, I think Mr. Dell had about an hour and 15 minutes of direct cross-examination and follow-up took about another 50 minutes, a little over 2 hours of time, given the time frame we have, at least trying to finish by 1:30. I do want to afford you time to present your case and have as close to equal time as you can. Just parties as we proceed with direct and cross-examination, that we want to give the board time for any deliberations that they have in order to reaching a decision today. So please keep that in mind. Let's try to be efficient, but at the same time, I do understand I am trying to keep up with as much time to try and give you as much time as we can with that. So with that, we will let's go ahead and take a 12-minute break. It is 11:45. Let's reconvene at 12.
And if there is an issue with the room, we'll handle it. So don't worry about that. But it was our hope that we wouldn't spend all day on this.
Our hope too.
All right, board members, are we ready to go back on the record?
Yes, sir.
All right. Councils, are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
All right. Then please,
We're calling Miss Lauren Riches to the stand.
please state your name for the record.
Lauren Retches.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You may proceed.
All right. Lauren, I know you and I know each other, but would you please state your name for the record?
Yes, I'm Lauren Retches. I'm the National Sales Director at Skurnik Wines and Spirits.
What are your responsibilities in that role?
I monitor distributor sales performance, both purchases and depletions, and I also assist with issues with payment matters and operational issues.
Can you give the board an idea of the type of portfolio that Sternick Wines and Spirits represents?
Yes, it is a rather niche portfolio, primarily consisting of German, Austrian, and grower champagne, but we represent nationally over 200 brands.
I want to talk about Skurnick's relationship with RNDC. How did Skurnick come into that relationship?
We were working with Natural State, and RNDC, from what I understand, purchased Natural State.
And how long have you been involved with RNDC directly?
In Arkansas since August 2023, but then in general since since I believe 2022.
And has Skurnick been satisfied with its relationship with RNDC?
No, we have not.
From a 1,000-foot view, can you tell the board why?
Yes, it's a very large network of distributors, and it's not very compatible with the way we do business because there's lengthy item setups. It's a little bit more corporate, and we're a little bit of a smaller company.
And what is your knowledge of RNDC's operations, the scale that they operate on?
Well, when we first started with them, I operated in almost every state as a distributor, and they're one of the largest distributor groups in the United States. But they've sold some states since then.
Right. I want to talk about, the reason we're here is there's a dispute before the board. However, there was a prior dispute. In May of 2025, Skurnick submitted a request to change wholesalers in Arkansas. Why was that?
There were multiple issues. There was declining sales performance, but most pertinent was repeated late payments. They had at that time, I believe, $60,000 or so that was overdue that they had been withholding payment due to a transition in Texas.
And I believe that this is buried somewhere in the existing exhibits. I want to highlight this as a specific exhibit, tab 1, which I'll mark as Skurnick 6. And do you see this Skurnick 6 exhibit before you?
Yes.
And is this a true and accurate copy of the wholesaler change request from May of 2025?
Yes, this is it.
And under the outstanding invoices, you know what you just said, that RNDC failed to remit payment on multiple invoices totaling $66,000. Is that right?
That's correct.
Did they continue to fail to make payments following this?
Yes, they paid up those after, but then continued to be late on most payments after that.
Do you know if RNDC received a copy of this change request?
They did.
And was it at about the same time in May of 2025?
Yes.
So at that point, RNDC had actual written notice of your intent to terminate the agreement?
Yes, correct.
After the request was submitted, what did RNC ask Skurnick to do?
They asked us to withdraw the request to change wholesalers.
And this has also been put before the board, but was not specifically marked as an exhibit. In tab 2, we'll go ahead and mark this as Skurnick Exhibits 7. And do you have this email correspondence before you?
Yes.
And this is correspondence between you and Ms. Crawford?
Correct.
Who is here in the room with us today.
Yes.
We'll have to read this from back to front. So if you'll go ahead and flip to the second to last page of the email. So it should be a June 3rd email at the bottom, page 3 at the second half. Just tell me when you get there. It says, hello, Kim. That's what it starts with.
Yes.
Okay. Here it says, After internal discussions, we'd like to extend our partnership with RNDC through December 31st, 2025, with the goal of turning the business around together. Do you remember sending that?
Yes, I do.
And why did you send it? Was it your shared goal to improve RNDC's performance?
Yes, we wanted to give them a second chance to turn things around.
And how did you help support that goal?
We had a national territory manager come to the market, but we also established goals together, Kim and I, that we agreed upon and even reduced some goals, gave them some pricing support on the Pinot project to make it a little bit easier to obtain that goal that we reduced. And then we continued and increased the sampling as well to throughout the year to help them reach those goals.
And the just that sentence right below that paragraph, it says, our primary concerns remain declining sales and the need for timely payments. Do you see that?
Yes.
And was that the impetus for entering into the performance agreement, the DPA?
Yes, it was.
And I believe we have covered the DPA at length at this point. However, I do want to clarify something. If you could go to section 3.1. And this is in tab 3, just for ease of access. Can you read the first line?
Yes, the parties shall conduct a formal performance review on or about September 30th. Do you want me to continue?
That's good.
Okay.
So earlier we heard testimony that this performance review was completely on Skurnik. Is that reflected in the language of this agreement?
No.
And 3.2, can you read that first line as well?
If the performance goals outlined in section 2.2 are not fully achieved by December 31st, 2025, supplier may, at its sole discretion, terminate the distribution relationship.
That's good.
Okay.
And did RNDC achieve did RNDC fully achieve those goals?
No.
Okay. And during these discussions where you were negotiating the DPA, RNDC agreed to the terms.
Yes.
They participated in the in the drafting of the terms,
Yes.
and in fact requested a change in the numbers on the P&O project. Right?
Correct.
Was that a byproduct? Was that a part and parcel of the good faith back and forth to improve the business relationship?
Absolutely.
Okay. Following the execution of the DPA, what actions, what did Skurnik do?
We withdrew the change of wholesaler request.
And you sent that via letter to this board, is that right?
Yes.
I'll direct the board to what is tab 4, which will mark as Skurnik Exhibit 8. And tell the board what this letter accomplished.
This withdrew our wholesaler change request in Arkansas and let them know that we had made a distribution performance agreement together that we were going to hold them to until the end of the year.
And in the second paragraph, it states, after further discussion, we have mutually agreed to move forward under a new DPA that establishes revised terms for payment, outlines specific sales and depletion goals, and sets clear performance review dates. The agreement also includes provisions for early termination should progress fall short of expectations. Do you see that?
Yes.
So did RNDC receive a copy of this letter?
I believe so.
And so upon receipt of this letter, they again had actual written notice of the defects and were provided an opportunity to cure.
Correct.
And same with the emails that we reviewed just a moment ago. That was also actual written notice of their performance issues and the notice of intent to terminate, correct?
Yes.
And the DPA, as we've discussed at length at this point, provided an over 200-day period to cure the issues identified in both the DPA, in the email correspondence, and in this letter to the board.
Correct.
So that's three instances of actual written notice of failure to meet goals and notice of termination and opportunity to cure, correct?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to ask a question that I know is on everyone's mind. What is a depletion?
Depletion are cases that are sold in the market.
And versus a purchase? What's a purchase?
Purchases are what the distributor, in this case RNDC, purchases from us.
And why are depletions such an important metric?
Depletions are what they're actually selling in the market. Yeah, they're rather important.
And the agreement, the DPA established specific performance goals with respect to purchases, correct?
That's correct.
And depletions, right?
Yes.
Do you remember the performance goals for the purchases?
The purchase goal was 2,600 cases,
And what about depletions?
2,400.
Let's go ahead and talk about those actual numbers. How many on the general product, the 2,000 of the 2,660 cases, how many were actually sold or
Two-
purchased?
2,050.
2,050 as opposed to 2,660. Okay. Of the depletions on the general product, the goal says is 2,400. How many were actually depleted?
2,151.
On the Pinot project, it says 250 purchases. How many were actually purchased?
I don't have that number in front of me, but it's in here somewhere. Sorry.
I think that was in the first exhibit that you sent.
Right. The actual purchases were 177.
Okay. And then of the Pinot project depletions, how many of the 220 did they do?
According to our numbers, 209, but it sounds like their numbers had 213, but both short.
Both short. Okay. And then in the specific categories, were there any specific categories where they actually met the goals?
No.
Yeah. The portfolios?
Yes, we had goals for each portfolio since each portfolio operates a little differently and has its own challenges. So we created goals by portfolio.
Okay. And did they miss those goals by portfolio as well?
They missed every goal except for, I believe, the general French goal.
Okay. But they missed it. They missed the German. They missed the Italian. They missed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about long-term volume over the years. Do you remember approximately how many cases were sold by your previous distributor back in 2022?
Yes, it was 2,679.
And then in 2023, what did that number become?
2,415.
And that's the year that RNDC bought your contract. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then in 2024, what was the numbers?
2,328.
Okay. And then in 2025, what was the number?
2,050.
Okay. And then how is it performing so far in 2026?
I don't have the numbers in front of me for that one.
Okay. Have you so far seen a decline this year?
I believe now they're officially up.
Okay. But for the first quarter, were they down the first quarter?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about these late payments issues. Is getting paid on a timely basis very important to your company?
Extremely important.
Can you explain why that's so vital to a company of your size?
Because we can't continue to support our staff or continue to purchase even wine from the wineries if we're not paid in time ourselves.
Is there a point at which you can no longer extend credit to someone who's not paying?
There's 2 times that we would pause. One is if they're over their established credit limit, and then the other one would be if they're past due on their balance.
Okay. I want to turn in our notebook to tab 12. I think that's exhibit 9. Is that right? Yeah. Skurnik exhibit 9. Can you, I know that's tiny print and it's a mix of red and green, which I'm partially colorblind, so I apologize. That's hard on me, but it kind of looks like a Christmas tree.
From what you're told.
Yes. From what I can see red and green, but not well. They blend. Can you explain what tab 12 is, please?
Yes, this is a list of all invoices, I believe in 2025 through present day, and the red are what was paid late, and the green are what was paid on time.
Okay. Is there more green than is there more red than there is green?
Yes.
Okay. So would you classify the way that they have been meeting their performance in terms of paying you on time? How would you characterize that for the last year?
It was not going well.
And did it get well right before they filed this appeal? Did it get better?
They paid up, I think, the day before they filed the appeal.
Okay. But before they filed the appeal, were they behind?
Yes.
Question. I know there was some testimony earlier about the letter about strategic realignment. I want to talk about that just a little bit. Is that maybe a polite way of saying they weren't doing their job?
Yes, I would say that.
Okay. In what ways do you feel like they have not been supporting you the way you would expect?
Well, we're in many states for RNDC a small fish in a very big pond. But so it's hard to get attention often. But I think more importantly, the late payments were consistent and communication was difficult. In particular, they had paused payments due to us leaving them in Texas for a couple of months. And then finally, the most difficult thing for us working with RNDC is their eRNDC system because it's a manual item entry system that takes a long time. I'll be brief, I promise. But there's
no, take your time. Please explain.
As I said, we're a niche portfolio. We have about 200 brands, and they're all very, very small wineries where we're selling, 5 cases of this, 20 cases of this. So a lot of our business relies on setting up on special orders and setting up a lot of items. So that's a lot of items to set up in a lengthy system.
And how does their setup system compare to other distributors who you work with?
I would say maybe a quarter of our distributors have item setups, but all of them are much easier.
All of them are much.
That quarter of our distributors that have them.
And how many states do you have distributors in?
All states but our direct ones, which is 8 direct markets.
So
about 40.
40. And of those 40, would you say this is the most difficult setup that you have?
Definitely.
Okay. Did you tell us a little bit about this having to hire an additional staff person?
Well, as I said, we have about 200 brands, and each of those requires a lot of item setups. And so in order to support that, I maybe a 10-minute item setup doesn't seem like so much when you're talking about one item, but when you're talking about that many across a lot, it takes an extra person to help. So we had to employ an extra person to assist us get those item entries in.
And that's just for Arkansas, is that correct?
At the moment, yes. It used to be for Texas, now just Arkansas.
And let's talk about Texas for a minute. Was that another relationship where you had RNDC because your previous distributor got bought out?
No, we selected them.
You selected them there. But you've since ended that relationship, is that correct?
Yes, it lasted about 3 years.
Okay. And since you ended that relationship, was that about a year ago, a little over a year ago?
Yes.
Okay. With your new distributor, can you tell us how much your depletions have changed?
Our depletions last year were up 10% with our new distributor.
Okay. And what about your purchases?
44%.
So since switching, you've had a significant improvement in your sales in Texas?
Yes, and they continue to be up in 2026 significantly, about 18%, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's talk a little bit about this wine industry decline issue that keeps coming up. Are you experiencing systematic or drops in all the states you're operating in?
No.
Okay, tell us a little bit about how your sales are doing in other states.
Some states are up significantly. Of course, there's a few states where we're not doing as well here and there, but those are also partnerships where we're constantly talking and evaluating our performance as well. But last year, I believe, as in all of our markets combined, we were up 4%.
Okay. And I'd like to introduce what are we up to, 10? Yeah, Skurnik Exhibit 10. This is in tab 18. This is a letter from Arkansas Wine and Spirits. Can you tell us about this letter?
Yes, this is a letter detailing their business performance in the state of Arkansas in the past several years.
On the wine category, does their letter say that they are up in terms of sales?
Yes,
And is this the distributor you'd like to switch your relationship to?
yes, that's right.
Trying not to be duplicative of some of these things that have already been covered. Which one's that? Tab 17. Apologize, we're kind of going a little bit out of order intentionally to try to reduce the length of this hearing. If I could move to tab 17, that'll be Skurnick Exhibit, I believe 11. If I'm keeping my, yay, my math is good. Can you tell us a little bit about this email chain, please?
Yes, this was a email chain between me and Gabe Abdo, who I believe now his title is President of Fine Wine for RNDC.
Okay, and can you tell us a little about the content of the letter, please?
Yeah, this is an email thread back and forth where we were trying to get payment for unpaid bills in Arkansas. They had stopped paying us for, I believe at this point it was about 2 months because of the relationship in Texas ending.
So let's talk about that a little bit more. So are you saying that they were withholding some of your payments because of a agreement in Texas?
Yes.
Okay. Is your Arkansas agreement have anything to do with your Texas agreement?
No, they're separate.
Okay. What did they ultimately ask you to do in Texas? Did they ask you to take any product back?
Yes, they asked us to pick up product.
And did you accommodate them with that request?
We did.
Would you describe the relationship that you've had with them overall as dysfunctional?
Yes.
I think given what we've already gone over and for the sake of time, I think we've hit our main points. So would like to reserve the right to redirect, but open it up for cross.
Mr. Dell, do you have any questions for this witness? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, can you please pronounce your last name for me?
Like the actual way you pronounce it. It's Reches, actually.
I don't want to mispronounce it.
Just say Reches.
Okay, Regis. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna call you Miss Regis. Is that okay?
Yes,
Okay.
that's fine.
So you testified you're the national sales director at Skurnick Wines, correct?
Yes.
Does that includes RNDC Arkansas, right?
Yes.
How long have you been involved in RNDC with RNDC Arkansas?
I've been involved in some way, shape, or form since I believe for about the past 12 years. But as national sales director, RNDC specifically, then since the beginning in 2023. Sorry.
RNDC Arkansas specifically? Okay. So you've only been involved with RNDC Arkansas since August of 2023 when it came into existence, right?
Yes.
All right, I want to turn to the distribution performance agreement real quick. Go to section 2.2. Section 2.2 sets the standard for meeting goals, and it uses the standard best efforts. Is that correct?
Yes.
Best efforts. It doesn't say guarantee, correct?
Not in that section.
It doesn't say must, correct?
No.
Section 2.2 sets the goals, the goals, correct?
Yes.
You'd agree best efforts means reasonable efforts, correct?
Yes.
Now, looking at those goals real quick, the general product depletion goal was a 14% increase from actual depletion numbers in 2024, correct?
Yes.
Did you look at any market conditions or market data when setting those goals?
Not specifically, no.
There are only two categories listed under the goals section in the DPA, correct?
Yes.
General product and Pinot project goals, correct?
Yes. And it says a detailed breakdown by brand portfolio is attached.
And correct. And now turning to that attached breakdown, it again only includes two categories, correct?
Yes.
It doesn't have any other category goals set for other categories, correct?
No.
Now turning to the first with termination request letter filed by Skurnik. Skurnik cites declining sales performance from 2022 and 2023, correct?
Yes.
RNDC Arkansas never existed in 2022, correct?
No.
RNDC Arkansas only existed for a few months in 2023, correct?
Yes.
So 2023 numbers weren't based on a full year, correct?
Correct.
You only had one full year of sales performance to compare to, correct?
Yes.
So there was no declining sales from prior years for RNDC Arkansas, correct?
That's correct.
To quickly reference the email between you and Ms. Crawford dated June 2025. You could please turn to I have lost track of the exhibit numbers. I apologize. So many exhibits.
It's probably the same one as.
Okay.
How does the email chain?
It's the, sorry. Okay, it is the email chain that starts with thank you. So the first page says, thank you, Kim. Yes, we'll do.
Got it.
Okay. If you could please turn to the third page, there's some highlighted.
I'm sorry.
What exhibit number is that?
Tab 2, Skurnik 7.
Skurnik 7.
This is an email from you to Ms. Kim Crawford, correct?
Yes.
This was right before signing the distribution performance agreement, right?
Yes.
In that email, you state that the proposed goals in the distribution performance agreement came after internal discussions, correct?
Yes.
That means after Skurnik's internal discussions, correct?
Yes.
Now turn to page 2. It's true that RNDC raised concerns about those Pinot project numbers, correct?
Yes, which is why we let her adjust them to what she proposed.
And because they were high, correct?
To her, yes, so we adjusted them to what she asked for.
Now, RNDC's only alternative to signing was losing the portfolio entirely, correct?
I don't know, I guess.
You had already filed a termination request at that
Right,
time,
okay,
correct?
then sure, yes.
It was already pending, correct?
Yes.
You only withdrew the termination request after RNDC agreed to signing the distribution performance agreement, right?
Yes, it was their proposal.
Let's talk about the item setup delays. I haven't, I'm not
okay.
using an exhibit right now or document. Now, you noted lengthy item setups, correct?
Yes.
It was Skernick's job to input those in RNDC system, correct?
Yes.
So that was lengthy item setup times within Skernick's control, correct?
No, I mean, there was the system itself as RNDC, so it takes a long time to enter an item in it.
Skernick was responsible for entering those items, correct?
Right.
Now, I handed you an article earlier. This is a new article that I just handed or passed out. This will be, I think it's going to be RNDC Exhibit 13.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it's the new article that I circulated. Is the only new thing that I circulated.
Okay.
Take a second to review real quick. But this article is dated February 1st, 2024, correct?
Yes.
And it discusses RNDC's e-RNDC platform, correct?
Yes.
All right. Can you please review that first paragraph for me in the article?
Starting Republic National Distributing
Yes.
Company. One of the top beverage alcohol distributors in the nation today reported that its online sales for the eRNDC e-commerce platform reached 800 million in annual sales and 1.7 billion in lifetime sales in 2023, surpassing the cumulative e-commerce revenue of the previous 2 years. This includes a 32% year-over-year growth in the number of monthly active customers on the platform.
This represents that the eRNDC platform increased sales revenue, correct?
According to RNDC, yes.
And then the second paragraph, it's true that RNDC's RNDC platform was incorporated in other states, correct?
Yes.
It says
to say that.
and this article references more than 6,700 brands were featured using this eRNDC system, correct?
Yes.
This eRNDC system included advanced features to help speed up product searches and market curations, correct?
Yes.
Now, so this eRNDC system was implemented in 2024, correct?
The eRNDC system? It was implemented before that because we've been entering items in it since like 2023 or 2022.
Did you voice any concern in 2023?
I did, actually. I wrote Gabe Abdo and I expressed some concern for our business in Texas.
And it's true that in Texas, not Arkansas, correct?
Well, we weren't with RNDC. It wasn't officially RNDC until the end of 2023.
RNDC, but not RNDC Arkansas, correct? You'd agree that RNDC Arkansas and RNDC Texas are separate entities?
Right.
Okay. And it's true that RNDC reached out and assisted Skernick in the item setup process, correct?
As of, I think we got some assistance as of November 2025, I believe was when they started to step in.
In fact, you got assistance.
But they
pri-
weren't helping to be clear, they weren't helping to enter the item specifically. They were just trying to make sure that our questions were answered if something got bounced back or rejected.
Can you please refer to RNDC Exhibit 3? It's an email between Amanda Bodala and Skurnick, so Skurnick and RNDC. Yes. Is it 4? Sorry.
That's our, we entered it
Yeah.
as.
It's 4.
Okay. All right, I'm there.
All right. So this is bottom of page 4, top of page 5. It's an email from Joshua with RNDC to Amanda with Skurnick, correct?
Yes.
In this email, RNDC offered to provide a bulk upload form to assist Skurnick, correct?
Yes.
Now, if you go to page 15, an email from Amanda to, so Skurnick to RNDC,
Yes.
that email is from Skurnick's representative, correct?
Yes.
And that email attributes Skurnick's delayed item setups to backed up NIFs for multiple distributors, correct?
Yes.
And it also attributes that to staffing inefficiencies, correct?
I wouldn't say it's staffing inefficiencies. I think it's more of the fact that it was a busy time of year and
Can you please read the first sentence of that email?
I have been by myself in the order box and have had to prioritize order entry of POs. The other person that enters orders was on vacation.
So she was by herself and having to do this by
Yes,
herself.
it wasn't staffing inefficiencies, rather, I would say someone was on vacation that week.
So she didn't have enough help, correct?
Not at that time, no.
All right. Now, looking to Skurnick's first request to terminate, did did Skurnick ever provide any notice before it filed that letter to the ABC?
No.
So that was the first time that it was hearing of Skurnick's intent to terminate the relationship, correct?
And that one, yes.
In fact, you had already identified a replacement distributor in that letter, correct?
Yes.
So you had identified a replacement distributor before you even terminated the relationship or requested to terminate the relationship with RNDC, correct?
At that time, yes.
You had no intent to cure the deficiencies at that time, correct?
We were still learning how the system works. So at that time, no, but we fixed that.
So you agree that letter was addressed to the ABC and there was no notice of your intent to terminate prior to that letter, correct?
Yes.
The distribution performance agreement, it set new goals, correct?
Yes.
There were no goals prior to the distribution performance agreement, correct?
I'm not positive. We often do set some at the beginning of the year, but I'm unsure if we had any.
So it's true then that RNDC can't cure goals that never existed, correct?
Right.
Now the second termination request, no, there was no notice before the second termination request was filed of performance concerns, correct?
No, we had the distribution performance agreement and we had some pretty laid out terms there.
And that set new goals, correct?
Set out goals, yes.
And there was no, and it's true that Skurnick did not send a letter or any written communication to Skurnick citing purported failure to meet those goals in the DPA, correct?
No.
And Skurnick didn't provide a cure period to pay any purported invoices that were purportedly late, correct?
I'm not sure what you mean by that. I think when the invoice is due, it has to be paid.
Skurnick did not excuse me, let me strike that. An invoice, when an invoice is sent, it has a due date, correct?
Yes.
At that time, there's an invoice in general is not considered late, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did Skurnick send any other correspondence after an invoice allegedly became past due to RNDC to pay those invoices?
Yes.
Did Skurnick provide a cure period for RNDC?
I'd like to say you have 60 days to pay.
Correct.
Not necessarily, but we did cut off sales every once in a while saying we can't sell to you anymore if you're not paying.
Now let's go to Skurnick's Exhibit 18. This is a letter by Arkansas Wine and Spirits.
Quick clarification.
Yes.
It's tab 18. I think it's exhibits.
It's Exhibit.
It's
Yeah.
Skurnick 10.
Okay.
Okay.
Excuse me. Thank you for the clarification. You stated in your testimony earlier that Arkansas Wine and Spirits is the proposed replacement distributor, correct?
Yes.
And that Arkansas Wine and Spirits letter represents that it was up in sales, correct?
Yes.
Now, do you know if those numbers reflect fine wine sales? And you don't know if those numbers reflect foreign wines, correct?
No.
You don't know if those numbers reflect vintage wines, correct?
Nope.
You don't know if those numbers reflect similar portfolios, correct?
Nope.
And it's
Excuse
true
me, I'm
that,
sorry. Can I just take a minute? Can we object to the relevance of this? I'm not quite sure why the competitor would be in question here, why that's relevant to the conversation.
Oh, you cannot object. Any attorney in this room could object to relevance at any point in time.
now, real quick,
We object that this is not relevant.
Skurnick introduced this exhibit as evidence of its proposed distributor being able to meet goals. So this testimony is intended to stand for the proposition that essentially that they don't even know whether those goals are similar, or excuse me, whether those goals reflect the same portfolio.
Fine one. Okay, that's
Yes.
helpful. Thank you.
So on that point, I'm going to overrule your objection. This is your exhibit.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. Duff.
All right, thank you. And you stated in your testimony that, that Arkansas Wine and Spirits was up in sales, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, and RNDC Arkansas was also up in sales, correct?
Yes.
Now I want to go to Skurnick's second request to terminate and those numbers cited in that letter. And I should be wrapping up briefly.
I believe this is tab 5. It hasn't been entered as an exhibit. I think it's the state's exhibit, but for ease of reference.
If it has not already been entered as, sorry.
It's
Okay.
State's Exhibit 2 at the back that is included in what was sent to ABC for this request.
If you go to the second page of that letter, or paragraph number 3,
Yes.
those actual depletion numbers cited for general product and Pinot Project depletions in 2025, can you see that?
Yes.
You don't know where those numbers come from, right?
I do.
Where do those numbers come from?
From the VIP system. It's I don't know technological terms, but it's a system platform There we go. A platform where RNDC reports their numbers to the platforms that we can view them. Any distributor that will report.
Now, it's true that it's already been established through testimony that there was no communication between Skurnik and RNDC of performance concerns after the distribution performance agreement was executed, correct?
Not sales and purchase performance, no.
Right, is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. And it's true that those Pinot project number, the Pinot project actual depletion number is actually incorrect, right?
Yes. Or according to RNDC, yes. According to our system, it's accurate.
You don't have those reports with you, right?
The VIP report?
Right.
No.
Now, this letter also references additional goals set by portfolio and country, right?
Yes.
Those goals were never actually attached to the distribution performance agreement, right?
Yes, they were, but I think it was a separate attachment.
That was not included in.
I don't think it was in the document. I think it was like in the email in a separate attachment, but they were there.
There was one exhibit referenced in the distribution performance agreement, correct?
Yes.
And that was Exhibit A, correct?
Yes.
Those categories were not listed on Exhibit A, correct?
No.
Okay, thank you. Now, real quick, you testified earlier about RNDC's new distributors in other states, correct?
Yes.
Sorry, not RNDC, Skurnik's distributors in other states.
I got you.
Correct? Okay. And you mentioned Texas, correct?
Yes.
That's a completely separate entity, correct?
Correct.
And Texas is the bigger state, correct?
Yes.
Texas has a different geographical and economical or demographic, correct?
Probably.
Now, there was also some testimony earlier by you about specific numbers, that specific depletion numbers that decline from 2024 to 2025, correct?
Yes.
You don't know if those numbers were affected by customer demand, correct?
Nope.
You don't know if those numbers were affected by the tariffs, correct?
Nope.
You don't know if those numbers were affected by the government shutdown, correct?
No, but I don't think the government shutdown affected anything.
But you don't know that, correct?
No.
You didn't review any of those factors, correct?
Before doing what?
Before making your decision, correct?
No. They were, most of them already in place when we made the agreement.
Now, you don't handle in your position as national sales director, you don't handle accounting and statement reconciliations, correct?
Not directly, but I assist.
But you don't handle those reconciliations, right?
No.
Okay. And you don't make those adjustments, right?
Adjustments
On adjustments from a statement to an invoice, correct?
No.
So I'm going to go to Skurnik Exhibit 9.
Tab 12. Tab 12.
Yes, tab 12. Now, this is a list of various invoices that you mentioned, right, in your testimony?
Yes.
Now, this list, do you know who put this together?
I did with the assistance of Julian in our credit department.
And this is just a summary, right?
I would say it's a pretty exhaustive list.
It's a summary that doesn't reflect the actual, that doesn't contain the, attach the actual invoices, correct?
Correct.
Now, for the statements that were mentioned, that were discussed earlier, so statement balances, You testified earlier that you don't do or handle statement reconciliations and adjustments, correct?
Not directly, no.
You don't know if those numbers were affected or impacted by any open credits, do you know?
I do know,
You do know,
yes.
but you don't handle statement reconciliations, right?
Not directly, I said, but I'm in communication almost daily with our accounting department.
So those statements, you don't know if those reflect that whether open credits have been applied at any point, right?
Some open credits hadn't been applied, but we had been trying to get in touch with the RNDC for months to ask them how they wanted them applied, because we don't want to just apply it anywhere. We want them to tell us how they want it to be done.
I've got no further questions.
Does the agency have any questions for this witness? Board members, do you have any questions for this witness? All right. Any rebuttal?
I do have a few follow-up questions. This first exhibit they just gave us about their system,
Yeah,
the one with their logo on the front.
yes.
I do just want to clarify one thing. At the very top, what does that say?
The very first line, press release.
Press release. So I know this got referred to a couple times as an article, but who does it say this article is by?
Republic National Distributing Company.
Okay, so this isn't really an article, it's a press release then. Okay. I want to talk about this question, this issue that kept coming up about them being forced last year to sign this agreement. Is RNDC bigger than you are?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel like you could have forced them to do anything?
Definitely not, but it was actually their idea to come up with an agreement.
Last year, had you not been able to reach an agreement, could we have been having this exact same hearing a year ago?
It's possible.
So we could have done that instead. Want to talk a little bit about this lengthy entry process, because I think that is a key issue here. Let's talk just a little bit. Give us some examples of some of your other distributors and what they require you to do in terms of entry.
I would say about half or more of our distributors have no item setup process. In fact, we operate as a distributor directly and have no item setup process for our suppliers at all. But though often it's a spreadsheet where you have to fill in things like name, cola, vintage, and pack size and things like that.
Also want to follow up on this point about Texas is a bigger state, so you'd expect bigger numbers. Did you have a percentage increase in Texas of sales?
Yes.
Switch, okay.
I'm
Does
gonna
the size,
object. I think this is irrelevant, what the Texas numbers were.
I was following up on your question. I believe that's,
That was to clarify your original testimony.
You didn't raise the objection on the initial, so I'm gonna go overrule and allow. Go ahead.
does the size of the state make a difference on percentages of increase?
No.
Okay. There was also some questions about communication during this 200 some odd day period after the agreement was signed. Were invoices sent on a regular basis?
Yes.
And were there also emails that accompanied those invoices?
Yes. And they're sent in at several different points from several different sources.
In the industry, do vendors ordinarily get a cure period beyond the number of days that they have to pay something?
No. A due date's a due date.
Do you usually get cure periods from the people you buy from?
No.
There was also an issue about the replacement, that you lined up a replacement distributor with Arkansas Wine and Spirits. Why did you do that? Would that just be a good business practice?
Yes. And in fact, when you create the distribution change request, it's a change of wholesaler request. So you need to know who you're going to first.
Okay. I have just one more question, but I do want to talk about this just a little bit more because I think this was came up quite a bit during the cross just then. Let's go back to the four numbers, and I might be asking you to do just a hair of math.
Oh, no.
We have a calculator if needed. So the goal was 2,660 general product cases purchases, correct?
Yes.
And they missed that by, or what, how was the actual number again?
2,050.
Would you agree that's approximately a miss of about 20%?
Yes.
Okay. Then on the depletions, the goal was 2,400 and the actual was what number again?
2,151. So roughly 10%.
10% the miss? Okay.
Yes.
The Pinot project, the purchase goal was 250 and they actually had,
177 cases.
okay, approximately what percentage off is that?
Oh, gosh, Cliff.
Rough,
Let's say 20.
just shy of 30%.
Okay, sure.
Okay. And then, if I understand correctly, on the last one, the depletion goal, it was supposed to be 220, correct?
Yes.
And your number's 209
Yes.
and their number's 213?
Yes.
And that's either, use their numbers, what is that still roughly off?
Probably 3% is my guess. How'd I do?
Yeah, that's roughly right. And so my last question then. The goal for the general product increase was 14% increase,
Yes.
correct? But it was actually a 20% decline.
Correct.
The goal was a 2,400 or 14% increase on general product, but it was actually a 10% decline.
10% miss.
The goal on the Pinot project was a 25% increase, but it was actually a 29% decline.
Yes.
And then the goal was a 25% increase on Pinot project, but it was actually another decline.
Yes.
No further questions.
Thank you, counsel. Ms. Riches, you are excused. You'll stick around, please. Board members, at this time, as I understand that some of you may not have had a hearing regarding a wholesaler change request, as this is new, I do want to give the agency an opportunity to kind of give some context regarding the rules and law regarding these types of changes. So I'm going to ask the agency to outline, they did include in your packet a copy of the rules, but give them an opportunity to address the criteria for this type of change and specifically this board's jurisdiction for review of this, as well as review of this appeal specifically. So.
That's correct. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Thank you, board members. I know it's been a long morning. I appreciate you paying attention and asking your questions. Appreciate you, Mr. Holder, for coming in as a substitute for us this morning. Essentially, the wholesale change request, it was just mentioned kind of there at the end. The entity who's wanting to change wholesalers will send in a change request and it will say who they want their new wholesaler to be. The current wholesaler can object, no, I don't want to break up, kind of thing. So what I do when we go back and look through is on page 86, it talks about the factors, business reasons, which may be considered by the director in determining good cause for authorizing a change of wholesaler. This is a de novo hearing in front of you guys, so you don't have to consider what I did, but these are the factors that I considered when I made my decision. So these are the factors that will be helpful for you guys to consider as you're making this decision. You're welcome to deliberate out loud. You're welcome to ask questions of Drew, Katie, and I if there's some confusion, but I would give you just a few minutes before we start deliberations to flip through this rule packet. And if there's anything you need clarification on, please let us know.
Board members, I want to give you an opportunity to review that. I know you did at the beginning, give you some context, but I do want to give you an opportunity to ask the agency any questions you may have regarding this review criteria as the director outlined before moving into deliberations. Once we move into deliberations, it is preferred that we stay within discussion among board members only. So if you, and I have no problem going back and allowing you to ask questions of agency and asking clarified questions, but I would like, if we can, to combine those to this point before moving into deliberations. Any questions for staff? All right. Thank you, Madam Director. All right, at this point, I will turn it over to you as chair for deliberations.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Do our board members, do you have any discussion you want to initiate? Any questions?
So ultimately, we're deciding, we're going to vote on I don't know what the right word is, but
Yeah, so-
upholding the director's decision or
Correct. Ultimately, we're deciding whether we're upholding the director's decision to allow the wholesaler change.
Madam Chair, I do apologize. I skipped one important step. I have not given the parties an opportunity to make any closing arguments. I do apologize. Councils, I do apologize for that. And one of you please should not have hesitated to yell at me from across the room to remind me of this. I do apologize. Board members, if you'll bear with us for just a minute. Mr. Dell?
Members of the board, you've heard the evidence today, so I'm just going to walk you through it briefly and summarize what the evidence established here today. The question before this board is whether Skurnik has met its burden of proving good cause to change its wholesaler. The burden is on Skurnik, it is not on RNDC. The alcohol beverage regulations identify specific factors that the board considers, so I'm going to walk through and address each one briefly. The first is a wholesaler's failure to maintain reasonable sales volume of the brand, not to maintain sales as set in the contract, but reasonable sales volumes. That is commercially reasonable. The evidence is uncontested. RNDC did not fail to maintain reasonable sales volume. RNDC grew depletions. Skurnik's own filings and its own second wholesaler change request acknowledged that depletions increased from 2024 to 2025. RNDC achieved 2.4% growth in a market declining 7 to 9%. 2025 fourth quarter sales were up nearly 20% year over year. Customer placements, retail placements grew 8%. Pinot Project grew 25.8%. Those are facts, and they are facts drawn from Skurnik's own letter and the reports and evidence cited before the board today. Skurnik cited no reports or other evidence other than the numbers stated in its letter. Those numbers are conclusory, and there's no underlying numbers from other reports that evidence or establish that those numbers were in fact the numbers that reflect actual numbers in 2025. Skurnik says RNDC missed the DPA targets. Skurnik says RNDC missed the DPA targets. RNDC actually met the DPA's best effort standard. The DPA targets required double-digit growth during the worst sustained wine market contraction in modern history. Wine had not posted a single month of positive volume growth in several years. There was testimony today that no distributor had achieved 14% wine depletion growth in 2025. The targets were commercially unreasonable, and the DPA's use of a best effort standard was not a guarantee. It confirmed the targets were aspirational, not mandatory, and that RNDC came close, if not exceeded, and also exceeded and outperformed market expectations. Now, the second factor is prevailing economic conditions affecting sales generally. Now, the evidence on this factor is overwhelming and unrebutted. Skurnik actually presented no evidence to meet its burden of establishing why those sales goals numbers were commercially reasonable. Skurnik bared the burden to do that before establishing that any deficiencies were reasonable or unreasonable. Now, the evidence on this factor shows that national wine depletions fell 8.7% in 2025. Combined wine and spirits volumes dropped 9.7% from July through November. There was consistent and double-digit declines in October and November of 2025. There were also other outside factors affecting the economic conditions in the industry generally. In an industry that was trying to recover from the pandemic, there was evidence that European wine imports faced new tariffs that went into effect shortly after the distribution of performance agreement was executed in 2025, directly affecting fine wine, Skurnik's fine wine foreign imports from Europe. There was also a federal government shutdown in October. And that was the longest shutdown that the U.S. government had experienced. Those conditions affected depletion goals and the market industry generally in an already declining industry. Skurnik presented no evidence that it considered those conditions in making its decision to set the goals, nor did Skurnik present any evidence showing that those goals were commercially reasonable as set forth in the DPA. That failure alone should give this board pause. The regulation exists precisely so that market conditions, not just raw numbers, arbitrary numbers, inform the good cause determination. Skurnik ignored this fact entirely. Now, the third factor is the extent of RNDC's efforts in promotion of the particular brand. The evidence shows that Skurnik the evidence showed that Skurnik was not collaborative during this period, during the DPA period, that training sessions weren't being performed, and that RNDC reached out for training sessions, and that Skurnik was not very responsive. The fourth factor is the extent of RNDC's efforts or lack thereof to promote a particular brand. Now, you've heard from Kim Crawford here today that RNDC did just that. In fact, RNDC increased sales depletions. RNDC was not just sitting on its butt. RNDC was proactively selling and promoting Skurnik's portfolio and brand. 3 days after the distribution performance agreement was signed, RNDC initiated item setups to expand the available SKU content. RNDC followed up at least 10 times over 2 months, while Skurnik's team, understaffed and overwhelmed, delayed submissions. There was evidence presented that Skurnik's delay in item setups was due to internal staffing reasons, and it was due to Skurnik not wanting to put in the work and not wanting to engage in the lengthy setup item process on its end. Now, RNDC offered assistance. RNDC offered a forum to help Skurnik. RNDC reached out and tried to assist Skurnik. Despite that, Skurnik's item setup delay infiltrated into August of 2025 and greatly affected the ability to purchase and to make Skurnik products available for sale. Despite this, RNDC grew placements by 8%, and it still achieved its goals and exceeded market expectations. Now, let me turn to what the evidence reveals about Skurnik's own conduct, because the alcohol beverage regulations permits the board to consider any other factors relevant to such proposed change. Now, Skurnik suspended shipments for months before the distribution performance agreement was executed. Skurnik delayed item setups for 2 months. Skurnik provided incorrect pricing data. Skurnik failed to fulfill purchase orders. Skurnik never conducted any interim performance reviews, any final performance reviews. Skurnik actually never raised any performance concerns or issues with RNDC. RNDC's reasonable belief that it was performing satisfactorily was consistent with RNDC's own data and consistent with the prevailing market conditions. Now, despite this, in January of 2026, just 9 days after the distribution performance agreement ended, Skurnik refiled. That's not the conduct of a supplier working collaboratively and in good faith, which is what the DPA required. The evidence also reveals that Skurnik's first termination request, filed in May 2025, before the DPA even existed, expressly cited strategic business realignment reasons. Skurnik had already terminated RNDC partnerships in other states. Skurnik was wanting to adopt its own internal plan to withdraw and end partnerships with RNDC, regardless of where RNDC was. Now, in the distribution performance agreement execution emails, the evidence established that Skurnik only withdrew its first termination request if RNDC agreed to sign the distribution performance agreement, despite those high goals that were set. In all, the evidence shows that Skurnik just simply created a mechanism to create pretext for a decision that Skurnik had already made. Finally, Skurnik has presented no evidence that Arkansas Wine and Spirits or any other distributor could achieve a depletion increase in this market. None. Despite the fact that RNDC Arkansas did achieve a depletion increase. Now, again, the market is declining structurally. You've heard testimony from Skurnik's representative that it didn't even consider the market conditions. It didn't even consider consumer demands or consumer preferences. That dramatically affects how numbers and goals. So changing distributors will not change the portfolio's pricing. It will not change Arkansas's demographics. It will simply not reverse the national contraction trend. It will not lift the tariffs on European imports, and it will not retroactively lift tariffs on imports. Those headwinds will follow Skurnik to its next distributor. Now, members of the board, this regulation was enacted to protect distributors from exactly this kind of conduct. A supplier that sets impossible targets, withholds cooperation, fails to communicate performance concerns, and then invokes the inevitable shortfall as grounds for termination is the exact conduct that the exact type of conduct that Arkansas law prohibits and implemented to protect distributors. Now, the franchise protection framework in Arkansas also exists because distributors like RNDC invest resources in brands. They train, they staff, and they build relationships with accounts. They grow placements, and they sell wine. And they deserve to be judged fairly in light of prevailing conditions that were independent of any of RNDC's efforts, not against targets that were commercially unreasonable in a declining market. At bottom, RNDC grew its depletions 2.5% in a market declining 7 to 9%. RNDC grew placements by 8%. There was simply no evidence presented that RNDC's efforts fell short of best efforts. RNDC was proactively selling and promoting Skurnik portfolio and Skurnik brand. Skurnik has simply not met its burden of establishing good cause. And finally, Skurnik failed to provide the statutory advance notice required for curing deficiencies. Skurnik cited alleged payment deficiencies. They cited no invoices. They only cited statements that had not been reconciled, statements that had not been adjusted, statements that did not actually reflect the true balance. And Skurnik's testimony established that it did not provide advance notice to cure, as required by the Arkansas Franchise Practices Act, because this is a franchise state. As a result, Skurnik did not meet its burden. We respectfully ask this board to reverse the director's decision and deny the wholesaler change request. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Counsel?
Thank you very much. Apologize. I'm getting old, so I have to move my glasses. But so on May 15, 2025, basically a year ago, Skurnik requested approval to change wholesalers because their relationship with RNDC is not working. A relationship that they did not ask for and was forced upon them through an acquisition that occurred. So this was not who they chose. This is who they were foisted on them. Sales have been declining for several years. Invoices have been habitually paid late, and operational payments are making it difficult for Skurnik to manage its portfolio in Arkansas. Skurnik agreed, though, to give 200 plus days more to cure. And thus, the parties entered into this agreement on June 9, 2025, the Distribution Performance Agreement, which I do want to point out, Section 1, where in the agreement that RNDC signed, it acknowledged a consistent decline in sales volume, 2, delayed invoice payments, 3, operational inefficiencies due to back-end system incompatibilities with distributor, including but not limited to lengthy setup times that impede special orders and promotional execution. RNDC negotiated this agreement, and a point that I really think is important here. RNDC is the bigger player in this market than Skurnik. They're a much bigger company. To say that they were forced into this or in any way compelled to enter into this agreement or any of these terms were forced upon them They have more market strength, more market size than Skurnik. They certainly could have negotiated it. And in fact, they did. They requested, they believed that the Pinot goal was too aggressive. They requested a decline, and without even negotiating that, it was accepted. And so when RNDC requested a different number for Pinot, we gave them that different number. And what's happening today, the very fact we're sitting here at this hearing, is yet actually another breach of that agreement, because the last section of the agreement says that if those performance goals were not met, that RNDC would allow a transition to another distributor. That's stated in writing. That's something they signed, and now they're still fighting us today. The purchase targets were missed by more than 20%. The depletion targets were missed by more than 10%. Now, I understand they're arguing that some of our numbers may not be correct, but they knew what our numbers were. Those numbers were laid out in the letter to the director in January. Those numbers were an issue during the director's decision. If they did not believe that our numbers were accurate, they could have brought some kind of countervailing testimony or evidence to that effect. They didn't. And actually, the one that they did bring up was the Pinot distribution, the depletions being 213 versus 209, which we'll happily concede. Even if the distribution performance agreement alone was not sufficient good cause, which I submit that it is sufficient good cause to terminate this relationship, but even if it isn't, just looking at Rule 206G of the rules for when you can release a relationship, this is sufficient. Skurnik has had, when it was able to get out of its relationship with RNDC in Texas, since then its sales have increased by 10, its purchases have increased by 10%, depletion have increased by 10%, and its purchases have increased by 44%. We have another distributor that is ready, willing, and able to take this over. Now, much has been made about supposedly Skurnik not living up to its agreement with the way that it enters information into RNDC's system. Well, frankly, the very fact that we're having to argue over that should be enough reason for you to allow this relationship to end. Clearly, their systems are not compatible with each other. That's a good reason in and of itself when you look at G in there. Their systems don't work together. However their business model works, however our business model works, they're not compatible. So that's a good reason to allow them to leave. If anything, RNDC makes it sound like Skurnik's a major burden to them, that they're a problem selling our products. Well, if that's the case, then let us go. Let us go to someone else who would be glad to sell our products. Also, this has been brought up a few times about the 90-day notice that's required under Arkansas Code 472-204. Well, I submit that they received far more than 90-day notice and far more than 30 days to cure. This began a year ago. There was an agreement that gave them plenty of time. And in fact, since that agreement ended on December 31st, 2025, there's been another 72 days, and the problems still continue. The late payments still continue. You can just simply look at the tab that has what we call the Christmas tree. The red, 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 late, 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 late. And a company like Skurnik just cannot live with a distributor that is repeatedly late time and time and time again. At its best, this is a dysfunctional relationship. At its very best. The very fact we're sitting here having to argue proves that this is a dysfunctional relationship. That is a relevant factor. That's a good reason to let us go, to please give Skurnik the economic freedom to choose its own distributor, not the one that was chosen for it when its previous distributor was bought out. So with that, we just respectfully request that you please allow Skurnik to end this relationship and move to another distributor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Would the agency like to add any closing statement?
No.
Okay, thank you. With that, now that closing statements have been made, I will turn it back to you for the deliberation.
Board members, do you have any questions of the agency at this time? Okay, do you like to have discussion amongst ourselves, or is someone ready to make a motion?
I make a motion to upheld the director's decision and the wholesaler can change their distributor request.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. Let the record reflect that the decision was unanimous. I'll ask staff to reduce the decision to writing and make or attempt service on all parties. If any party cares to appeal the decision, appeal can be taken up under specific provisions of this board or the Arkansas Administrative Procedure Act found at Art Code 25-15-201 et sec. And with that, unless there are any questions, then I will close the record.
Yes, thank you for being here. We can meet at the conclusion of this meeting if you guys have any questions about procedure or internal processes, anything like that. The only other board business I have very quickly for you, confirming the board dates for the rest of the summer. We have June 10th, which has been previously set, July 15th, August 19th, and then we're already in September. Are you guys comfortable setting September already?
Yeah, let's go ahead and set September. I will flag that I may need an alternate if we don't have quorum for the July 15th date. I'll confirm with you, but I might be out of town for that one.
Sure. Let us know. And we did request a substitute today since Mr. Berner was going to be gone as well. And just in case one of the three of you got sick, our quorum is 3, but we like to have extra cushion. So please let us know if you guys have issues. For September, that date we're looking at is the 16th. I will tell you that is the same week as NISLA, which is the National State Liquor Administrator Conference that we are hosting here in town. We might be kind of ragged that Wednesday because it ends on Tuesday. If we can bump it to the next week, that'd be nice.
That's fine with me. Do you all have any objections to bumping it to the following week?
Or
That
the
would
week
be
before,
the 23rd.
Either way. Oh, yeah. we
Let's do
like
the
week after.
23rd. I feel like that'll be a safer.
Okay. We will do September 23rd for now, and we will keep that noted that that is our request to be late due to the NISLA conference.
Thank you.
Okay. Outside of that, I don't think there's any other business.
Okay, if we are done with business, do we have a motion to end our meeting? To adjourn. Thank you. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Do
Motion to adjourn.
I have a second? All those in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you.